Shoot it. You shoot the ball, man. Shoot it. Go ahead, shoot it. Shoot it, man. Shoot the ball, man. Shoot it, man. Shoot the ball. Shoot the ball. You shoot the ball, man. Go ahead.
It don't matter who got the last shot. There's only going to be one king of the court. We're going to find out who it is. July 6th, Carolina Court Classic Cookout. Y'all know what time it is. See you, bro. I'm sorry, bro. Game point, nigga. Tu hermano, your brother.
Your hermano.
Your brother.
Black and brown. Black,
Negro y marrón.
negro y marrón.
O negro y negro y café.
Hermano.
Hermano.
Black and brown, we're going to be down in Fayetteville, North Carolina. lot of 6. We doing the cookout, man. Y'all know what time it is. We have all type of fun, all type of games for everybody to come down and really have a good time and enjoy themselves. What you think?
El julio 6 tendremos una parrillada en la ciudad de
Testing. Let's see. God damn. Testing. Oh, God. All right. You turned the mic up, didn't you? All right, let's clap it up for the class down here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Let's clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. I am not General Mahayaman. I will do my best to cover the class till General Mahayaman gets here. So as always, we'll answer your questions, solve your problems. So of course, anybody in Fayetteville, if you have a question, you want to line it up. What zones do we have in here today? Can we get the zones, the different zones that's online?
Come on, sir. You know, we got HQ.
We got headquarters. Big up the headquarters. You know what I'm saying? Let's clap it up for headquarters. Who else we got up in here?
We got I.S.U.P.K. Trinidad.
Trinidad. Give Trinidad. Hey, I'm looking forward. I'm gonna be coming to Trinidad to teach a class soon. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Who else we got?
We got I.S.U.P.K. Dallas.
Got Dallas. Big shot, YAHANNA. I think I owe shot YAHANNA a fourth dimension. I'm gonna send it out. So big up to Dallas. Who else we got?
We got U.P.K. Baltimore.
Got U.P.K. Baltimore. So of course, for those different zones, if y'all got a question or anything, just let Fayetteville know, and then we'll go ahead and cover them. So first thing I do is always get questions in the room. Are there any questions in the room? Y'all all know the Bible. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Who said Salakia? In the back? Okay, Khan. Do you need a mic or something? Do they need a mic, or will they be able to hear?
Check.
Okay, Khan, go ahead.
Salakia, sir, if I may, can I get a breakdown of 1 Corinthians 10:4?
Hold that question. That's actually a question I have for General Mahayaman. I actually text him that. You talk about with the rock in Christ. I actually text that to General Mahayaman, so he'll be answering that later today. Yep. Did you have any other question? Nobody else any questions online? Or have you been writing down the questions online? Does anybody have a question online?
Let's see. Brother, give a shout out to everybody that's in the chat.
Okay, none of the zones have a question either. Okay, so the things that have been going on, y'all know the biggest thing that has been taking place is Diddy has been. You gonna say something? Oh, you got a question?
Sir, we got a question from Trooper Zakarwan. He says, Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Barakatah.
Yahweh Shem Barakatah.
Trooper Zakarwan from Dallas, Texas. Salakia Adawan. Can you break down Philippians 2:6 and Philippians 2-10? 2 and 10.
Okay, so Philippians chapter 2, starting at 6 through 10.
I believe he says,
okay.
It just says 2 and then verse 10.
Okay, no sweat.
Come on.
All right, let's go ahead and get it. He spelled it Philippians. It's Philippians. Let's get the book of Philippians chapter 2, verse 6. If somebody can grab that so we can read it. You want to actually start at verse 5. Let me see at verse 5 where you want to start. Start at verse 3. If somebody can read Philippians 2 and start at verse 3. If somebody can grab that. Yeah, you got it? Make sure the mic is on. The water.
The book of Philippians, chapter 2, verse 6.
No, start at verse 3. Salakia.
Verse 3. Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory.
Now, this is something that's really hard to actually get, because like when you come into the truth, there's a lot of people that come into the truth. In the Bible, Paul writes about some people coming to the truth for envy and strife. And then you got some people that come into this truth for love. But we want both of them in here. And the reason why you want both of them in here is because even that brother that's coming in here for vainglory and for strife, he's useful until we find out he's in here for the wrong intentions. What do I mean by useful? You need somebody to build camp equipment. You need somebody to hold posts. You need somebody to read. And so all of that is useful. And because you might come into the truth with the wrong intentions, and then it turn into the right intentions. Or you can come into the truth with the right intentions and it turn into the wrong intentions. There's no set way that you're going to be. except the effort that you put in with the truth. So when this verse says, let nothing be done through
How you man? You want to hold it down? I appreciate it.
brother had a question on Philippians 2 and 6.
No problem. Anytime you're ready, I'll answer your questions on a momento, okay? Somos la escuela israelita de conocimiento práctico universal. Comenzamos en 1 Oeste Calle 125, Harlem, Nueva York, desde 1969 debajo del mando General YAHANNA. Carnales, esta es la verdad. Si tú eres hombres hispanos, negros o indio nativo, tú eres Israel, el pueblo elegido de Dios. Tu madre y tu padre dicen que somos un culto y mantienen su iglesia sin culpa, pero su iglesia es culpable de todo lo que nos están pasando. Mi nombre es General Mahayaman, servicio a placer de la General YAHANNA. As two preguntas, I will take all of your questions right now, all right? Any questions? First of all, clap it up for where are we at tonight? Where is this? Fayetteville, North Carolina. Shout out to Fayetteville, North Carolina, all of the southern schools, man. Atlanta, give Atlanta a hand. All the other southern schools, man, for YAHANNA, SHALAM. South Carolina, give South Carolina a hand. And to celebrate my entry into Fayetteville, North Carolina, I'm going to have a drink tonight, huh? Clap it up. Whenever you're ready. I'm just happy to be here with you. That's all. I'll take any questions that you might have online or in the room in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Are you ready?
Con. This is from Trooper Zakarwan. He says, Shalom, Yahweh, from Dallas, Texas, Salakia Adawan, can you break down Philippians 2 and 6 and Philippians 2 and 10? The water, sir.
No problem. No problem. Claro que sí. Whoever someone has it, please, could you just read it for me? I'd appreciate it. All right. Gracias. Gracias. Someone has it? If not, I can grab it.
Oh,
I think I might have left my phone. Do me a favor.
This is the book of Philippians.
You said Philippians. Oh, so like,
2 and 6.
This is the book of Philippians, chapter 2, verse 6. It says, who being in the form of God, thought it not robbery to be equal with God.
What does it mean? This is speaking about Jesus Christ, right? And the most important thing to understand is that this is Jesus. This is how Jesus Christ thought about his relationship with God. And he believes that we should think the same thing. That's important. All right. That's the whole point of this scripture, of us learning this, is that Christ thought this about him and God. You should think this about yourself and God. All right. Read it one more time.
Sir. It's the book of Philippians, chapter 2.
If you want to go one verse or two above it, please do.
Sir. This is the book of Philippians, chapter 2, verse 4. Look not every man on his own things, but every man also on things, on the things of others.
Now, once again, this is talking about us. Look not every man on his own things, but every man on the things of others. What is that speaking against? Selfishness. What is it speaking in favor of? Selflessness. Every man should think about another brother's needs, another sister's needs, not their own. That's the point. Continue.
Verse 5. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Mashiach Yahweh Shai.
Read that again.
Let this mind be in you, which was also in Mashiach Yahweh Shai.
Now that's important because Christians use this precept to say that Jesus is God and they're the same thing. But right here it's saying you should be like this. This is how you should behave. Jesus thinks like this. You should think like this, which is the real beauty of the story of Jesus Christ. It's not the lie that he is God or that his mother never had sex when she consummated him. The real beauty of his story is that it's our story. He's a brother that came from the ghetto, from slums, from poverty, and yet rose up to be the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings. And that is the beauty of this story. And what the Christian church teaches about Jesus separates him from you. Now he's nothing like me. I'm not God. I'm not God. Somebody had sex with my mother. I wasn't immaculately conceived. So how could Jesus Christ and I have anything in common if he's God? But if he's not God, if he's a man, but if he is the most righteous man that ever lived, then I absolutely can follow him and be righteous myself. This is the point. Continue.
Sir.
First of all, y'all went and got the good scotch tonight. Give yourselves a hand. You showed your class. You showed your class and sophistication. Go ahead.
Sir. The book of Philippians chapter 2 verse 6. Who being in the form of God thought it not robbery to be equal with God.
You see, him being in the form of God thought it not robbery to be equal with God. Since he was in the form of God, how was Jesus Christ in the form of God? Now remember, it has to be a form that you also could have, because we just read that above it. This is telling you to be in the same mind. So how was Jesus Christ in the form of God? I'll give it to you. You want to give it a shot, please?
Would it be like he's in the authority?
In the form of God?
Being authority, like authority figure?
Okay, that's the not robbery part. It's just switched.
Okay,
right? Because he was in the form of God meant he was righteous. That's how God is, righteous. Well, he was righteous. Your form is like how you're built. You know, the type of person you are, that's your form, right? Well, he was in the form of God, meaning he was completely righteous. So since he was completely righteous, he didn't think it was wrong to do what? Read the last part.
Thought it not robbery to be equal with God.
To be equal with God. What can God do? Forgive sins, which is what this entire thing is about. They were going to stone Jesus Christ because he forgave people's sins. He went to them and said, "Thou sins are forgiven. Your sins are forgiven. Go and wash yourself in the temple. Your sins are forgiven. Go pay the cost to the priest and go into the temple." And when the Sadducee and Pharisee heard that he was forgiving sins, they sought to kill him, because of course that's something only God can do. Well, since I'm keeping all of God's commandments, since I'm obeying God, I'm forgiving their sins. I'm not going to stone this woman. I'm going to say, since thy accusers have left, I will not accuse thee either. Go and sin no more. He thought it wasn't wrong to do, since he was not a hypocrite. You see, your preacher is a hypocrite. We're going into that tonight. Before I forget, we're going into the purple pigs of the IUIC. Y'all got them down here? Y'all got the IUIC down here? Listen, we're going into them tonight. We're going into preachers all coupled together with them. We're going into the 4th of July. We're going into a few other things I can't remember, but a brother will remember, all right? So he thought it was fine to forgive people's sins because he behaved exactly how God wanted him to behave. Right here. Please, Levi, is that you? Good job, boy. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
2 verse 7 to say that Adam was also formed in the form of God.
I believe you're correct. Go ahead and read it just to confirm.
The book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 7. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life.
That's the perfect precept. That's exactly what I'm teaching right now. That's what happened to Adam. Adam was from the dust of the ground. He was from the bottom. He was from the dirt. And the Lord God changed him, rebuilt him. This is not physical. This is the same thing that happened to you and I. Everyone understands, all right? Is there anything else? Are we good with this question or not? What are the other topics are? I forget. Go ahead.
Salakia, sir.
Mm-hmm.
We were going to go into the 4th of July.
Mm-hmm.
You were going to go into the 4th of July. We're going to talk about Juneteenth. We're going to talk about Fort Bragg.
Fort Bragg, that was the one I needed to get into. Fort Bragg. That's where we are right now, right? Fort Bragg. I've been researching Fort Bragg in preparation for this trip out. That place is 10 times the size of Manhattan, Tazaryak. 10 times the size of Manhattan. I mean, it is just a monster, and everyone's life down here has to revolve around Fort Bragg, a place named after the enemy of the United States. And an enemy to black people will go into Fort Bragg and tell some stories about Fort Bragg that, of course, people don't talk about. But somebody had their hand up over here. Let me get to Zaryak in the back first. You got it.
It's like it, sir. Captain Zaryak.
Please.
I had a question.
Can we get him on camera or are we unavailable? If we can, let me know. You got
So
it? Go ahead.
I had two questions, and these were questions that people that asked online.
Okay.
And I just wanted to get the school's official stance on.
No problem.
The first one was 1 Corinthians 10:4. I'll read it if you're ready, sir.
Please.
Come on, sir. 1 Corinthians 10:4 says, well, I'll start at verse 2. I'm sorry, verse 1 to give you context. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 1. Moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant, how that all our fathers was under the cloud and all passed through the sea. Verse 2. And were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea. Verse 3. And did all eat the same spiritual meat. Verse 4. This is where the question is at. And did all drink the same spiritual drink, for they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Christ.
No, sir.
So the caller act, the question that they wanted to know was Christ the in the cloud, or was Christ the literal? Is it saying Christ was the literal rock in the Old Testament when Moses and the Israelites was being led out of Egypt? And I believe a brother in the room asked a similar question.
Okay, well, definitely Christ was not a rock. That never happened.
Yes, sir.
So that you can be comforted in. That Jesus Christ is not a rock in the Old Testament, all right? So like most things in the Bible, it's spiritual. It's a metaphor because blacks and Hispanics speak in metaphors. They're first naming these events, right? These events in the Old Testament that revolve around water. That's the point. Read it one more time if you don't mind.
Sir. Moreover, brethren, I would not that you want me to read the verse 4 or
read from where you read from just now.
Moreover, brethren,
everyone knows where he is, correct?
1 Corinthians, I'll say, sir. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 1. Moreover, brethren, I would not that you should be ignorant, how that all of our fathers was under the cloud and all passed through the sea.
So that's speaking about crossing through the Red Sea, right? When the Red Sea split and they went on dry ground through the Red Sea. All of our fathers walked through the Red Sea. That's a water metaphor right there. All right, go ahead.
And all were baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea.
Now that's interesting that they use the word baptized. Right. Everybody sees that, right? Yes, speaking about what? Because they went through this water and the Most High God delivered them, taking them through this water. Paul is calling it them being baptized, right? Because it was a day that changed everyone. If you can just imagine that, sometimes I try to imagine being around back then when Israelites went through amazingly biblical miracles. That day is an amazing day to imagine. And all of your people, you're on the run. You're hiding. They're trying to kill all of us. And all of a sudden, your back is up against the Egyptians and the sea, which is death. All of a sudden, Moses steps out in front of that sea. Clouds form in the sky. And the wind separates the sea, making a path for our people to walk through. Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh Shai. It must have been an amazing thing. To even imagine it is hard, which is why Paul is saying all of us were there.
Right.
Our fathers went through this.
That's right.
We were all baptized that day. We were all baptized. The Christian church thinks sticking you in some dirty tub in the back of some child molester's church is a baptism. It is not. This changed people. Right. They went through this. They said, oh, my God. I mean, Moses, you're the man. 4 times. You're the man. Keep going.
Yes, sir. Verse 3. And all did eat the same spiritual meat.
What's the spiritual meat we're speaking about here? That manna from heaven. The Most High God, we were starving and hunger. The Most High God fed us with food that came from angels. Manna is like a little small coriander seed that was everywhere. When they woke up in the morning, they ground it up and made bread out of it. It was a miracle. They all ate that meat. They drank that water. They were baptized and they ate that food from God. Keep going.
Verse 4. And did all drink the same spiritual drink,
Keep going.
for they all drank of that spiritual rock that followed them.
Now here we go. What's the rock we're speaking about? That's when Moses made water to come out of a rock. That was another time when the Israelites were dying of thirst, complaining, and Moses struck a rock and water spilled out of this rock and saved our lives, because now we were not going to die of thirst. Right? Now keep going.
Excuse me. And that rock was Christ.
And that what?
And that rock was Christ.
That thing that saved all of our lives with water was Christ. Precept. John 4:22. This is a metaphor. Jesus Christ is not an inanimate object in the Old Testament. He's not a rock. And he's not God. And his mother and father had sex. Right? You kind of got to release your mind from, it's kind of a Christian way to think, like a child. You know how a child thinks? And so you begin to think the same way. You don't think your thinking is not based in reality. And because it's not, you can't really appreciate the Bible, because the Bible is completely based in reality, which is what makes it so amazing. All right. Moses made water come from a rock. We drank that water and now we were alive. Now read John, I believe, 21.
Do you want where he said, whosoever drinketh this water?
That's what I want.
This is John chapter 4, verse 14.
Now, this is in the New Testament, not the Old Testament. And this is a interaction that Jesus Christ had with this woman, and they were sitting by a well. They're sitting by a well, and this woman asked for water, I believe. Which is all y'all can read it, right? Go ahead.
John chapter 4, verse 13. Yahushua answered and said unto her, whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again.
So they're by a well. So Jesus Christ said, whoever drinks the water from this well will be thirsty again if you drink this water. Go ahead.
Verse 14. But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give,
that who has?
That I shall
that who
give
has?
That I shall
But if you drink the water that I give you, that's a whole different water. That's not physical water, young brothers and sisters, right? It's not physical. He's not talking about physical water. Is the water in the well. That's actual water. This is a metaphor about water. But if you drink the water that I shall give you, go ahead.
Shall never thirst.
You'll never thirst. You will never thirst. What water is he talking about? He's not talking about actual water. He's talking about the truth.
That's right.
The words that come out of his mouth that baptize you. It changes you to learn about him. It changed all of us. It changed Commander General YAHANNA before that. It changes you. You learn about him and you go, damn it, maybe I can do better. Maybe I can get off of drugs. Maybe I can get off of violence and being a pervert. Maybe I can do something better. He did. And our forefathers all went through that flood. We're just like him. Jesus Christ, his forefathers walked through the Red Sea. His forefathers were with Moses. We're in the same family as. There's another precept where it says Christ, which is our seed. Is it around here? It's close to here. Not close to here, but it's in the New Testament. Yeah, Galatians, where he's saying that we're the same family as Jesus Christ. Now that means something, huh? Because he's the greatest man to ever live. And he's our distant cousin. So can we do something amazing?
I got to see one.
Please.
Galatians chapter 3, verse 16. Now to Abraham and his seed were the promises made.
Abraham and his what?
And his seed.
To Abraham and his family, which is what a seed is. Like your son is your seed, right? Your children are your seeds. To Abraham and his family, the promises were made. Keep going.
He saith not unto seeds as of many.
Now this is supposed to crush your grandmama's church.
Yes.
Who teaches that God died for all the people of the planet Earth. That must feel real good when a white man is teaching it to you, because then it feels like, even though I'm a slave and he's white and he's better than me,
right,
maybe God will love a nigger too. Maybe God will love a spick, even though I'm a filthy nigger from Fayetteville, North Carolina. God loves all people. You see, that feels like he might even accept a piece of garbage like me because I'm black and Hispanic. That's what you feel like. Here's what you don't understand. You are the people of God. You're the people of Moses. You're the people the promises were given to. You're not Barakatha Yahweh Yahweh Shai. Keep going.
Kind of one. But as of one, and to thy seed, which is Christ.
This is a direct precept for the one you just read.
I think that answers the
Because it said, which is Christ right there, right? You got it. Solid. Anything else? No problem.
So, like, if I could, sir, just a question with saying Christ is the rock in verse 4 in 1 Corinthians. Would it be the same as saying Peter was the rock that Christ stole?
No, this is not that at all. This is not about the rock, it's about the water. So that's, you just want to think that. He's the water. That's why John 4, he said, if you drink the water I have, you will never thirst. So the Bible is using, or Paul specifically is using this metaphor that all of us drank from this rock and we were all saved because of it. If all of us learn from Christ, we will all be saved because of it. It's a thing that we all can go through. We all went through the Red Sea. We all ate the manna from heaven, and we all drank the water from the rock, which is Christ. We can all drink his everlasting water and live. That's the point. What's the everlasting water? The words, the direction, the commandments he gave that changes a man from dust to being something supernatural. That's the point. All right. Good to go. Anything else?
Salaki, sir.
Please. Who's that?
Salaki, sir. Sorry about you. I just wanted to know 1 Corinthians 10:1. Can you use that as a scripture that that Paul specifically was only talking to the children of Israel? Basically, when he says all our fathers were under the cloud.
Yeah.
No, it was under the cloud.
That's another excellent point, because he said our fathers were under the cloud, which means he's only talking to the descendants of the Israelites, because those are the only people that walked through the Red Sea. All whites and blacks and Africans and Chinese people didn't go through the Red Sea. The Israelites went through the Red Sea. So when Paul is talking, he's talking to the Israelites, because he said, you know that our fathers went through the Red Sea. Correct? I-B-A-J-A. Give I-B-A-J-A a hand out of New York. Well, so let me run the brothers down if I could again, warrior. Who do we have in here tonight?
Salak Adawan. We have HQ in the house.
Give HQ a hand again.
Shalom, sir.
Shalom.
We got Trinidad in the house.
Give Trinidad a hand. I see you, Trinidad. Go ahead.
We got Baltimore here.
Baltimore, Maryland. Give him a hand. I see you out.
Chicago's in the house.
Chi-Town. Give Chi-Town a hand.
We got Dallas here.
Give Dallas a hand. I see you, Dallas, Texas.
And Atlanta's in the house.
Atlanta, the Brave. Give them a hand. Well done, Atlanta. All right, if the brothers from the other camps got any questions, please let me know, all right?
So
I don't know about.
There is a question in the chat.
Please, Ben Ultraves, please, whoever's doing. That means one more. Ultraves.
This is from a Michael Wilson.
Please.
He says, Shalom, General. If
Gracias.
I may, there is
Please.
a lot of talk about the
Gracias.
advancement of artificial intelligence and its ability to surpass human intelligence
All right.
and potentially start a nuclear war. Are there any precepts?
About artificial intelligence?
Artificial intelligence. He says there's a lot of talk about the advancement of AI and its ability to surpass human intelligence.
Give me enchantments. I'll take that. I'll take enchantments, and I'll take no weapon formed against me shall prosper. And I'll take the devices of mine adversary. I would look up devices, that term. I believe there's precepts there that can lock you in on this topic. The weapons formed against me.
Sure.
I would go there to speak about, anything.
This
AI, robots. Y'all scared of the robots. I dig that.
This is the second part of his question, Adawan.
Okay.
It'll tie into your response. It says, continue question. Are there in the precepts in the Bible that could be used about AI and its power as a weapon that will be unleashed on the earth in the last days?
Let me tell you something, man. It must be amazing to be white. I think that sometimes. It must be so amazing to be white. And that, can you imagine, right? Can you imagine people sitting home going, What if one day robots take over and they hurt us? When meanwhile, white people have killed millions of us. And yet no one thinks about the danger of white people. No one says, well, what if white people start coming around here? What if there's more white people? You know, I heard they inventing white people. Have you heard about them? That's another invention. I think they killed about how many people down here in the South? What, millions of you right here? I don't think robots killed y'all in South North Carolina. Was it robots beating your backs, killing you, enslaving you? I don't know. I think they did that before there was a phone, before there were cars. They had murdered 2 million of you with old-fashioned guns and pitchforks and whips and sticks and God knows whatever they find. You care about let all the robots raise up in unity and rule the world. Let all of them do it. What in the hell difference would it make to you? Where do you think you would be when the robot overlords take over, huh? You'd be sitting there. The robots would take all your jobs, and the police would come into your neighborhood and shoot you. I don't know if you should be really concerned about the robots, seeing that you're black and Hispanic, and Donald Trump just built Alligator Prison USA. They'll put you in it. You worried about AI. Is that right? Those alligators are not robots, you know. They real straight up. And they're the same alligators that was eating you back in the 1800s. The same exact alligators. Donald Trump just built a prison. This is the part that kills me about Donald Trump and people like him. They named it Alligator Alcatraz. Like it's not, usually a name like that would be something, you know, it really wouldn't be official. You get my point? You know, like what do they call Rikers Island down there? The island, right? Rikers Island is just called the island.
Concept.
That's not the official name of Rikers Island, the island. Donald Trump named it Alligator Alcatraz and had his press secretary release it officially. It will be called Alligator Alcatraz, planning on eating you. I think we'll be fine with the robots. I think I welcome them. I welcome all of the robots to come and take over whenever they're ready. Come on.
That's the book of Numbers, chapter 23, verse 23.
Mm-hmm.
Surely there is no enchantment against Jacob.
Here's what the Bible says. Surely there is no enchantment against Jacob. What is an enchantment? Like a spell or witchcraft or, you know, this magic that he has. Who cares? There is no enchantment against Jacob. Who is Jacob? Jacob's name was changed to Israel when he fought an angel to be blessed. You are Jacob, the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. Las 12 tribus de las nación de Israel. You're Jacob. And there is no enchantment, no witchcraft, no spell, no technology that can prevail against you. If you're losing in life, it's not because the technology was too big for you. It's because your lust was too big for you. Your discipline too weak. You're not failing because of the computer or cell phones or lights or electricity. You're failing because of drug addiction. You're failing because of your sexual perversions, because of child molestation, because of the trauma of having terrible parents. That's why you're failing. Lights and microphones aren't the problem. Technology is not the issue. Anything else?
Neither is there any divination against Israel.
Any what?
Divination against
Israel. The divination is like a spell. You know, like someone puts a spell on you. That works on you because your lust is so great that anything will work against you. Anything will prevail against you, my God. But if you served God, nothing that our oppressor could build or invent would mean anything to you at all. Everyone understands. That was some question I think, Tazaria, you asked me about Bahalim. That's similar to the topic. I'll get that when I can. Go ahead.
Sir. According to this time, it shall be said of Jacob and of Israel, what have God wrought?
Forget about it. What have the Most High God done? Because he's going to protect us and none of this garbage matters. Fear not, young brothers and sisters. Don't be afraid of the robot armies. Don't be afraid of all the robots. It's okay. You'll be fine. Unplug the thing. Do that.
Yeah, right.
Robot come out. Back. You know, lose the charger. When the robot army comes, just lose the charger. That's all. That's all. You think this computer is destroying your life because all that nasty stuff on it, don't you? Guess what? Unplug the thing. You know, you could just do that, right? You know, your phone. Oh my God, these cell phones. You know, just lose that charger or push the off button. And I think we can prevail against the robots and the cell phones and the computers. Grow up. Anything else?
So like I said, that was it on
Go
that
ahead.
scripture, sir.
Was that it?
On that scripture, common concept.
Well, you had one, devices, and there's another good one. It's jogging my memory. Is that in there? Let's just look up devices. It might not be in there. Let me get the chaser, please. Oh, there it is, Warrior. Salaki. Go ahead.
So, like, this question is from Officer Kazamar.
Mhm.
He says, Shalom, Alawap.
Please.
Could I get a general breakdown on the prodigal son, Baba Kusha?
No problem. The prodigal son, the story, the parable, it didn't actually happen, but it's a parable for your learning. The prodigal son is about the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. Las 12 tribus de la nación de Israel. It's about the 12 tribes of Israel coming together. It's just like the olive tree with the branches grafted in. That's about blacks and Hispanics. The prodigal son is about blacks and Hispanics. I'll give it. Do I need to break it down line by line, or can I just give you an overall thing? Here we go. Here's the overall point. You got a father, right? A father who has two sons. One son stays at home, obeys his father. The other son wants to go out and leave his father's house. So he asks for his inheritance now. He doesn't want to wait until his father dies to get an inheritance. He wants it right now so he can enjoy it right now. Once again, lust, lust, lust. The father says, fine. Gives him his inheritance. He leaves his father's house and he goes and lives among the other nations, the other people. And he lives like a riotous animal with all of the sex and drunkenness until the money is gone. Every penny is gone quickly. He becomes to be so poor that he eats out of a pig's trough. He gets down and eats with the pigs. And then as he's eating with the pigs, he says to himself, even the servants in my father's house live better than this. My father's servants didn't have to eat out of a pig's trough. I'm going back to my father. His terrible life, after he finally got all of the pleasure, all the sex, all the drunkenness he wanted, he saw that it was meaningless because of what it did to his life. And now he was ready to go back. So he went back. When he went back, his father greeted him with open arms, thanked the Lord that he came back, gave him a ring to put on his finger, killed a lamb to have a party so it could celebrate and eat the lamb. When the other son saw it, he said, damn, I stayed here. I didn't leave. I stayed here. You ain't never give me a ring. You ain't never kill a lamb so me and my friends could have a party, even though I stayed here with you. The father comforted his son that stayed and said, you're a good son and I love you, but thy brother was dead and now he is alive. This story is about two parts of one nation. One part being the tribe of Judah, or the Jews, who stayed in Jerusalem. They didn't leave. They stayed. And the Most High God cast out the northern kingdom, or what is called Samaria. That's another story that's about blacks and Hispanics. The Good Samaritan. That's about the nation coming together again. Samaria is northern Israel. And they left. They preferred to mix in with the other nations. And they loved it. And they lived like animals. Then one day they wanted to come back. They want to be us again. They want to come back to the Father's house. And the Father is saying, accept them back. Don't reject them simply because they were gone. Don't reject them because they were sinners. Let them come back. I know you stayed and they left, but they were dead and now they are alive. You should celebrate your brother coming back with you. This is about two halves of one nation. The Bible says Ephraim will no longer vex Judah, and Judah will no longer have enmity against Ephraim. Blacks and Hispanics we hated each other in the Bible. We hated each other, and we hate each other today. All while that garbage was going on, while was it robots who was throwing? Was it robots in Los Angeles arresting all the Mexicans? Who was down there in Los Angeles? White people. White people were in Los Angeles. They call them ICE agents. They were in Los Angeles arresting poor brothers and sisters trying to sell empanadas on the street or doing construction on somebody's house. Robots didn't come down there and get them. It wasn't AI. It was white people. Now, as that was happening, you had black people on the internet angry at the Hispanics, like they shouldn't care about them. You a terrible bastard. All you think about is do the Hispanics help you? Why don't you help somebody? That is the evilest thing in the world. Doesn't the Bible say, care not for thy own things, but care for the things of someone else? We went through this earlier. When you look at Hispanics suffering, your brothers, all you think about is, do you help me? Do you help me? You help them. You do it if they don't help you. If all they can do is sell empanadas on the street and find a way to duck immigration, you help them. You do it because it is right to do. Instead of wondering, well, the Hispanics don't help me. Do white people help you? You ain't got no problem with celebrating the 4th of July. You don't never say, hold up, before I eat these pork ribs, have white people help me before I eat these pork ribs and put on a giant Uncle Sam hat? Do white people help? You never ask, do white people help you? You just run out and join the military and go to Fort Bragg. Those of you in this room that went and joined the white man's military, did you say, before I sign this paperwork, have white people help me before I go to Afghanistan and kill everybody and get shot and come back home with no legs, no penis? Have white people? You never asked, do white people help you? You went out there and signed up for the white man's military and went to Afghanistan. You know what? The Mexicans don't have to help us. You're going to help them anyway. They ain't got to do a goddamn thing for you. You're going to get out there and you're going to help them. If they've never done anything for you, you're going to help the Mexicans. If they never spoke to you, if they speak Spanish and talk about you behind your goddamn back, as you deserve, if they do that, you are still going to help them because your brother was dead and now he's alive. Everyone understands. That's the prodigal son, all right? Anything else?
Con out of one.
Go ahead.
We had another question. This is from a sister, Yaquar.
I'll get you 1 second. I bought you if that was you.
She says, Shalom, Yahweh Shemal Athaba, Hashem Yahweh Shah, Dallas, Texas. Salakia, sir, if I may, can I get a breakdown of Nahum, chapter 1, verses 9 through 11?
No problem, sister. Who made the food tonight? Uh-oh, look at this. Give her. I know she made the food. She looked over here like, who do you think made it? The look said, who do you think? What's your name again? Naimia, give Naimia a hand. It smells delicious. It's distracting me. It's stopping the Bible from coming out of me. But I'm going to focus. All right. Go ahead, Doc. Go ahead and ask the question.
This is the book of Nahum, chapter 1, verse 9. What do you imagine against the Most High? He will make an utter end. Affliction shall not rise up the second time.
A what, Salakia?
It says affliction shall not rise up the second time.
Is there a specific question about this?
Salakia, sir. She said, can I get a breakdown of Nahum chapter 1, verses 9 through 11? I need to catch
up with you if you don't mind. Let me see. Hold on 1 second. Galatians 3, Abraham. Okay, this General Haas sent me a good precept to water Haas. Galatians 3 and 16. That's a good one. 1 second. Okay, and she just wants a general breakdown. And where is it at again?
Nahum chapter 1, verses 9 through 11, sir.
Nahum 1. That's a whole lot of precepts, sis. I'll try to get through a couple of them. She said Nahum 1 and 9.
Chapter 1, verses 9 through 11 on the one.
Okay, I'm going to try to speed it up for her, all right? Babbity, 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 babbity.
Come on, come on. This is the book of Nahum, chapter 9. It's like in chapter 1, verse 9.
Let's go to 11.
Come on,
11
come
might
on.
do the whole thing. Go ahead.
Come on, come on, verse 11. There is one come out of thee that imagineth evil against the Most High.
This whole thing is telling you that nothing you imagine to do against God will work. People try. This is a good one for the AI and for the robots. Nothing that you imagine to do against the Most High God will work. Blacks and Hispanics, we think we just have bad luck. That's what we think about our lives. We think we're just in the wrong place at the wrong time. We think bad things just keep happening to us. That is not the case. The Most High God has the ability to protect you from every evil thing in the past that you did not get protection from. He can protect you from it, but you're not doing your part. You're not doing the things you need to do to earn that protection. But there didn't have to be one trauma in your life. There didn't have to be one bad day in your life, but you're going to have to do your part. All right. So just read that verse. So, sister, what I just said explains the verse from 1 and 9 on to 11. All right. But I'm going to read 11. Read it again.
Come on, come on. It's the book of Nahum, chapter 1, verse 11. There is one come out of thee that imagineth evil against the Most High.
There is one that comes out from you, like one of you. He's a part of you, and he comes out from you, and he imagines to do evil against God. Those are those preachers. Can I get Tyler Perry's text messages to some man that he was trying to convince to have sex with him, even though the man was not gay? And he used God to do it. God. This text message is so evil. It's been on my mind once a day, every day since I saw it. Every day I think about this text. I wish I could get it off my mind because it is so wicked. I just can't believe that it's somebody walking around that is like this. But that's because I don't go to church. Because if I went to church, everybody in church is like this. Everybody. There's only one reason anyone would go to church, and it's because that preacher is evil and righteous, and you want to be just like him. Otherwise, you wouldn't go to church. Who in the hell would go to church with that sodomite sitting up there dancing in church, with all of the hypocrisy in church? You only go because when you see him, you go, so I can sin and still act like I'm righteous. I want what the church has to offer, hypocrisy. You don't believe me? Here's one that comes out from you and has an imagination to do something against God. Let me read. Is this the one? Let me see what you got up there. The brother will read them. If not, if you want to wait till we do the topic, it's up to you. I can see it. You can't make it a taste bigger, can you? Hold on. Okay, who is the blue and who is in the black? Okay. Boy, oh boy, he'll get it. I think that explains his sister's question anyway. But we'll get him up. All right. Read that for me, please. There you go. Okay, scroll up to the top. Now, this ain't talking about God. This is disgusting. Now, this is Tyler Perry, but that's not talking. Give me one where he speaks about God. You was some. Is that it? Let me see. Let me see that. Okay, here we go.
There it is. Let me read out one.
Yeah, go ahead and read. Everyone, listen, these are Tyler Perry's. This also goes into the Puff Diddy thing I needed to do today that I almost forgot. Go ahead and read that.
It says, what's it going to take for you to have guiltless sex? Have y'all found that yet in therapy?
Now, wait a minute. This is Tyler Perry talking to this white boy who works for him. Some young white man who needs a job. Tyler Perry, you know he's a billionaire. You got to hear about that every day, don't you? You know he's a billionaire. That means he can have sex with all of the boys he wants. You know, Puff Daddy, you know, he beat the feds. That means that he can be a whatever that is that he is. Some type of sick cuckold or whatever filth Puff Daddy is. That's allowed because he has money. And having money means you don't have to have morality, right? Well, this is what the world would come to if what you thought happened. Read that again.
What's it going to take for you to have guiltless sex?
Because the man doesn't want to do it. Who knows why the man doesn't want to do it? Take a guess. It's going to be explained right here in the rest of it. Anyone want to give it a shot? Tyler Perry he keeps coming on to this man. Look right here. You know what I cook, Derek? Spaghetti, cake. I'm so drunk. Oh, I'm just drunk. Excuse me, Derek. I've been drinking. What is it going to take for you to have guiltless sex? Have y'all found that yet in therapy? Yes, it's the exact same kind of car.
Geo
Metro. What the hell that means? I'm gonna skip that. And then what did he say? Giving up my. Here we go. Gee, this is the part that gets. I can't stand this part, right?
Giving up my religious guilt. Becoming a Buddhist. That's so cool. Where you came from.
The man does not want to have sex with Tyler Perry because he's a. Say again. No. Read it one more time. Tyler Perry is saying, what will make you finally be able to have sex with a man without guilt? And he said, well, maybe if I become a Buddhist. If I become a Buddhist, then I might be able to have sex with you. If I become I read it one more time. Maybe what? Maybe giving up.
Salakia. What's it going to take for you to have guiltless sex? Have y'all found that yet in therapy? Yes. It's the exact same kind of car. Giving up my religious guilt.
Because right now, that's what's stopping them from having sex with Tyler Perry. He has religious guilt about having sex with Tyler Perry. Keep going.
That's so cool where you came from.
That's so cool. Maybe if you became a Buddhist, then you could have sex with me. That's so cool where you came from. Where does he come from? Why won't this man have sex with Tyler Perry? If he became a Buddhist, then maybe that would work. Then maybe he could do it. So what does he believe in right now? It's right in front of you. Captain, you want to give it a shot? He's Christian now. This is a Christian. That's where he comes from. He comes from that. He believes in his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. That's what he believes in. And because he believes in his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, he believes he should not have sex with this man. I'll go to Buddhism. Then I could have sex with a man. That's what I'm going to do. Because right now, my love for Jesus won't let me have sex with you. But in therapy, I'm learning that if I become Buddhist, then I could have sex with a man. That is the Christian church. That. Listen to his response. Keep going.
Unfortunately, Derek, I have friends who are in their 50s and 60s who are still dealing with that, and it's so sad. You can have freedom from religious guilt and still believe in Christ.
Derek, there's a lot of men I know in their 50s and 60s that still have this religious guilt. You know what that's called? That's called a conscience. That's what religious guilt, that's the other name for it, Akim. Sisters, a conscience. I say I believe in Jesus. I go to church. I have the Bible. And I know I shouldn't be having sex with a man. Maybe I'll become a Buddhist so I can really have sex with Tyler Perry. You know what, man? I know a lot of men like you. They got that religious guilt. They holding on to that. When will you understand? Read it again.
You can have freedom from religious guilt and still believe in Christ.
You don't have to be guilty about having sex with me. You can still believe in Jesus. This is the problem with the Black and Hispanic community. It's nothing else. It's not robots and AI and electricity or computers. It is this. This is why we went into slavery in North Carolina. This is why we went into slavery in Egypt. This is what lynching was about. This is why God turned his back on us. This is it. That you believe that you can love God and love Jesus and break God's commandments. This is why everything in your life fails. This is why nothing goes right for you. This is why Fort Bragg is a castle built in to disrespect you. built to denigrate you in your face, built to just be a thing that you look at every day that's named after the people that killed you during the Civil War. So you can drive by it and know that you are less than them. That's why things like that work. Because people rise up from among you, and they think that they can go against God. You're doing the same thing with Puff Daddy. The Puff Daddy, stop that for you on mine, brother, real fast. All right, no sweat. The Puff Daddy, of course, he beat the feds. You know, what a wonderful day, a day of jubilee for all black people, because Puff Daddy beat the feds because all he did. Some brother had a shirt he was selling out there that said, "A Frico is not a Rico. A Frico is not a Rico." They charged Puff Daddy with a Rico case, which is like a John Gotti, you know, like some law where you're a mafia boss. They charged him with that. Of course, he's not a mafia boss, so he beat those charges. Beating any charges in federal court is rare. Beating him in New York is super rare. All right? He beat those charges. And so he should be able to go home because all he did was the same thing that Jeffrey Epstein did. All he did was the same thing that Donald Trump did. Puff Daddy didn't do anything different than any other white man. And that is the problem. That's the problem with Puff Daddy. The problem is not that how you going to put a black man in jail for doing something that white people do all the time. White men do it. White men are freaks. White men like to have all that sex and they don't go to jail. So your goal in life is to be just as disgusting as white people. Congratulations, you're getting there. Before you know it, you'll be just like white people. What can you imagine the state of blacks and Hispanics if you let some piece of garbage that lets another man have sex with his wife become normal among us? Are y'all gonna do that, brothers? I don't know. He's rich. You might. He has a lot of money. He has a lot of money. Let me tell you about black and Hispanic men. We don't play that nasty mess. We don't deal with that. White people deal with that. That's a white thing. I ain't never had enough meat to give it to anybody, ever. I don't know what that even is. To have enough tail that I'll share it? No, I'll keep it all. I remember sometimes some brothers said, "Which one of these is your rib?" They all my rib. All of them. It was some restaurant. And the woman was like, "Oh, which one is your wife?" They're all mine. All of them. And I ain't parting with a damn hair on their head. I ain't parting with none of them. Here, Puff Daddy go. He in there. He let other men come in there and have sex with his wife. You want that to be normal? You want that to be accepted? Is that what you want? You want to be just like white people? You want to be as nasty as them, as gay as them, as sick as them? You won't achieve much if that's your goal. What you should be is better than white people. You should say, you know why Puff Daddy went to jail? You know why black drug dealers go to jail and white drug dealers don't? Because God has a higher standard for his children. God has a higher standard for us than he does for a white man. That's why if a black man commits a crime, he gets punished and white people never get punished. You know why? Because we have to be better than them. Well, here we are with Tyler Perry. He has $1 billion. And Tyler Perry is getting so much support. I just want you to know what you're supporting. So put it on the screen one more time. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and read it. Go ahead and read it again. That's it. Time. I'll get the next question after that. Go ahead.
You can have freedom from religious guilt and still believe in Christ.
That's the church, brothers and sisters. That's your grandmom's church. That's that place. That's why they eat pork in there. Because you can eat pork and still love Jesus. You can molest children and still love Jesus too, but you know that already, don't you? That's what your uncle did, right? He was a preacher. Wasn't he a preacher? Huh? Wasn't he a God-fearing man who loved the Lord as he was touching you every night? Well, you normalize that if you want. You want to be like white people, you'll get your wish one day. Is there anything else? Everybody gets it. All right, next question.
Khan. We have a question from Young Man Justice.
Mhm.
Says, Shalom, Adawan. Can I
Shalom,
get a
Lord.
general breakdown on the meaning of Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 16? Baba Kushah, sir.
No problem. Go ahead.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 16. Be not righteous over much, neither make thyself over wise. Why shouldest thou destroy thyself?
Now, let me help you with this, young brothers. Everybody was young in the truth at one time. When every young brother reads this precept, you know what he sees? He sees, don't be too righteous. I've had brothers call me and say, hey, you know that scripture where it says, don't be too righteous? And I don't know what you're talking about now. Don't be too righteous. I don't think that's in the Bible. Don't be too good now. You got to be a little nasty. Just to keep you honest. You know what I mean? Be a little freako. Let's have a 1 or 2 orgies just to make sure you ain't too righteous. This does not say don't be too righteous. I know that's what you see. You see don't be too righteous, but that's just because you're sick and nasty. What it actually says is don't be righteous over much. What it means to be righteous over much means that don't now try to control things that are not under your control. Somebody else controls those things. They're righteous over that. You be righteous over your stuff. Let them be righteous over their things. Don't try to be righteous over everybody's things. Can I give you an example? You're a camp leader down here in South Carolina, right? That's where we are, North Carolina, right? And you go, well, over there in Dallas, they shouldn't be doing that down there in Dallas. Dallas shouldn't be doing that. Why is that? Mind your effing business. Dallas reports to someone. You don't have to be righteous over Dallas. Be righteous over your city. I mean, how much tithes did you bring in this month? Nothing. So you mind your goddamn business about Dallas. Why? Because General Hazayan is over Dallas. Shad Ya'ala is watching over Dallas. They'll work that out. They got it. No, it's fine. You're okay. But now, what in the hell are you doing down there in your city when you bring in no tithes at all? You might want to work on that. Be righteous over that. That's why it says over much, meaning this person is righteous over a lot of things. You don't want to do that. You get your stuff, your things, and you be righteous over that thing. You do it. You handle it. Other brothers in other cities. Remember, Paul is writing these letters to camp leaders. He's writing these letters to brothers in the truth, trying to tell them how to run their camps. Don't be righteous over much. Read the last part.
Khan, neither make thyself over wise.
Neither make yourself over wise. How would you make yourself over wise? Is it wrong to have too much wisdom? Should you say, listen, I'm getting a little too smart. I better stop being so smart and start getting more dumb. It is not talking about that. Overwise means that I mind everyone else's business. That I'm into their business, what they're doing. And this is not the camp I have to run. This is not my city. This is not my operation. I'm handling mine, which is why Commanding General YAHANNA rose up 6 besides himself, 6 generals. That's the reason we're called generals, because we are righteous in general over things, not specifically. I don't specifically run any operation. No general does. We don't specifically run any one school or one campsite. Someone else does that. But we watch over things in general, the big picture, not the specific picture. But there are things that you specifically are over. There was a time I was in charge of the maintenance department of cleaning the toilets in Philadelphia. That was my job. And I cleaned that toilet the way I'm a general now. I did it the exact same way that I do this. It was no different to me cleaning that toilet at all. It was the same in my mind. And then before you know it, I was given opportunity to show my quality to Commanding General YAHANNA. And that happened over time. General Mayak was in charge of the security department in Philadelphia. That was it. He was in charge of the security department, and he handled it the way he handles being a 12 shield general right now. Well, that's your life. You'll do that. You'll have a thing and you'll be righteous over that. You're not righteous over every damn camp, everybody's operation, everything that everybody is doing. You don't have to know about everything that every other brother is doing, but you better know your business, or else we will find someone else to do it. I pray you understand. That's the breakdown, all right? Anything else?
Khan, we have a question from Derek Ali. Shalom. This is Alone in Israel. I just want to know, what was Abba Bivens' belief in his book, Marks of a Lost Race?
Sister, I'd never heard of that book, so I'd be careful about that. I'm kind of an expert on this topic of Hebrew Israelites. One of the few experts on the planet Earth. I don't know the most, but there ain't many people above me that know. I think it's about one that knows more than I about Hebrew Israelites. And Commanding General YAHANNA has never mentioned that book to me ever. I don't know what in the hell you're talking about with some book Abba Bivens wrote. I don't know what the hell that is, okay? But I would seriously doubt that. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Khan, sir, if I may, that book was discovered, quote unquote, a while back, that the book may have been made sometime in the past. We trying to figure out even if that book is even valid at all. So we're not sure. I'll just leave it alone for now.
I learned at the feet of Commanding General YAHANNA, and he's never mentioned that book to me. That's all I can tell you.
I don't Khan, sir.
What in the hell he mean? Abba Bivens, what Abba Bivens believed in is he believed that black people should keep the law. He was wearing Jewish clothing and kept Jewish customs. Towards the end, he began to realize that he should leave the white Jewish leader he had and break away from him because he was white. And he realized that he was the children of Israel and this white rabbi was not. Abba Bivens was like so many people at the end of slavery. At the end of slavery, white Jewish abolitionists. An abolitionist means someone that wanted to abolish slavery. They wanted to get rid of slavery in places like North Carolina. And they would come to places like North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and they would talk to black people who were already practicing Jews in slavery. They were already doing it. They were doing it at the risk of their lives and their eyes, because many blacks and Hispanics, their eyes were burned out because they read the Bible. Nat Turner was a Hebrew Israelite. Harriet Tubman was a Hebrew Israelite. You can Google this now. Nat Turner did that work that he did because he was a Hebrew Israelite. And he believed that the white man was the Egyptians. He was an Israelite. And then he did what people did back then to those white people. Harriet Tubman, that's why they called her Grandma Moses, because she was a Hebrew Israelite. Her family says she was today, that she was a Hebrew Israelite. And that's why she felt it was God's will for her to free the children of God from captivity. So there were a lot of people like that. Nat Turner, Harriet Tubman are two prominent ones. Abba Bivens came from that line of people that came out of the South. I forget where he was from, but somewhere from the South. I believe Ariah might have been from Georgia. I don't remember. They came out of the South. Somebody was from the Carolinas. Commander General YAHANNA will know directly. Someone was from the Carolinas. Anyway, he came from that. People who were already practicing Jews. Well, white people came into the South and said, I'll teach you how to be a real Jew. Come follow me. So they left the South and went to New York with these white Jewish people in New York and went into their temples and were their congregations. So these white men had black congregations of black Jews. Abba Bivens was one of them. Then one day he said, hold up now. The Jews are black. Why are we learning from you, Rabbi Servelstein? We shouldn't be learning from you. And he took everybody and left and went over and set up a school at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, which is where I was born. And from then on, 7 men who followed Abba Bivens, Chief Ed Priest Yaquab, Ariah, Mashar, Lahab, Yeshaya, Kazak, and Shar. I pray I didn't miss anyone. My apologies if I did, if I'm out of order with them. They went and set up the school after Abba Bivens was killed. Abba Bibbins was killed in Newark, New Jersey. He was murdered by the men of Malcolm X. Malcolm X's men murdered Abba Bibbins because he was out in the street in Newark, New Jersey, which was a heavily Nation of Islam populated place at that time, Newark, New Jersey. And he was out in the street blazing against them alone by himself. And they murdered him. And these 7 men were so angry about it that they kept teaching when everyone else from Abba Bibbins' group left, all of them. And he had a large congregation. They all left except for 7 men. They were so angry, they were more enthusiastic. They had something to say after that. They kept going out and they began to throw Qurans up and down the street. My first time ever seeing Commandant General YAHANNA, he was in Philadelphia. He came down from New York and he had a big rock and it said Allah written on it. Imagine a giant rock and it said Allah. And at this time, Philadelphia is about the most Muslim place you can imagine to this day. And he put the rock out there. That was in front of everybody. He put his foot on it and stepped on the rock. And there was like 50 Muslims there that looked like they were going to cry blood. It looked like blood was going to come out of their eyes. They were screaming and losing it. And then he went to the Quran, read in the Quran where it said that the Israelites are the chosen people of God in cow or heifer 1 and 22. And he took the Quran and he threw it over their heads down the block. That was the first time I ever saw him. And I was sitting there like, oh my God. Yeah. I've been on it ever since. I pray you understand. Anything else?
Khan, we have another question out of one.
Go ahead.
Oh, Salakia. This is from Elijah. Shalom, General. Exodus chapter 16, verses 3-5. Was the Most High so mad at us because of our murmuring that he put us back in a form of slavery under him because we were used to it, and he will be a better master by giving us a day off?
You gotta read that for me out. Any questions in the room, everyone?
No.
Just let me know. You can ask him now. I'll get you to Zaryak. Anyone else?
Counselor, we have a question here in headquarters.
Salakia, sir.
1 second. Just hang on to it. Let me get this. Let me try to give Fayetteville some to see if anyone down here has a question since they're physically in the room. All right. I'll get you in the back, Atlanta. Just stand by. Go ahead. Let me break this down quickly. I'll try to
this is
speed
the
it
book
up.
of Exodus,
Go
chapter
ahead.
16, verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
And the children of Israel said unto them, Would to God we had died by the hand of the Most High in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots, and when we did eat bread to the full.
So her question was, I didn't understand the question. Did you understand it? I didn't.
I'll read it again out of one.
Let me just break it down for you. All right. These are the Israelites. They're out in Egypt. They're out of Egypt. They're in the wilderness, meaning like in the woods out there, and where it's sand and water is scarce and food is scarce. So because they were hungry and thirsty, they began to murmur. Who knows what murmur is? Murmur is like a complaint. You're complaining among yourselves. You get my point? Like a lot of y'all do about me on the phone at night. Oh, y'all complain. I ain't got to listen to no man. He ain't going to tell me what to do with my wife. That's my wife. He listened to General Mahayaman more than she listened to me. You think I don't know all that? I just laugh and laugh and laugh. Oh, Lord. Anyway, so that's like you're murmuring and you're whispering. Why we got to listen to them? Why they know everything? They don't let me babbity. I understand now. Listen, you got a lot of complaints, and I totally understand that. Just file your complaint. You got a complaint department around here? Is there a trash can? Yeah, show me the complaint department. There's a complaint department right here. Anytime. Now file it, make a copy. File it in triplicate. And make sure you submit it to your camp leader and just make sure, because This is where it's ending up. The water, bro. Well, the Israelites did that because they were so hungry that they thought that Moses had led them wrong, because they now are tasting what it feels like to be free. Freedom, there's hunger in freedom. There's thirst. You ever try to be an entrepreneur? Some of y'all look dumb enough for that. Y'all ever try to go be your own boss? What did you think it was going to be like, right? You're on a job, you're getting a paycheck every 2 weeks. Then you say, you know what? I know how to make soaps. I can make good soaps and I can be an entrepreneur. And then you quit your job and you work for yourself. And then what happens? 15 years later, you ain't gave yourself a paycheck at all, ever. Because now you see that, I appreciate you. Now you see that being your own boss is a lot less stable than working for someone else, right? Well, imagine what it was like to leave Egypt. Now we're in the wilderness and we got to do things for ourselves, and we're hungry. We're thirsty. We begin to miss slavery. We begin to want to go back. In Egypt, where we had the flesh pot. A flesh pot is the first restaurants. What we call now restaurants, at one time was a big pot that was outside, with boiling meat. You come by, get a bowl, and you get some. You pay for it and get some. And they said that this meat soup would restore you. It would bring you back, which is why they're called restaurants, because it restores you. Because it used to be just a big pot of boiling meat. Everybody came up. In India, they still have them. There's a giant pot of God knows what over there in India, boiling and stinking, and that's their restaurant. Well, that was the restaurants we had in Egypt, and we missed them when we were free. We missed all of the vegetables, the variety of what is in that supermarket. Go down the aisles, all the different cereals, all the different things. Out in Egypt, we missed that. And we begin to complain that Moses had led us out here to die. That's the point. What happened after this? All these people got killed. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth with all your stupid complaining. You think I give a damn about your complaining, about what you don't like? We care about what is right. That's it. As far as you and stroking your stupid ass ego all the day, who has time for that? No one has time for that, all right? Here's what's right. Here's what's wrong. Do it or don't. You ever consider leaving the truth? That's a viable option. That's a popular option out there. Do that. Leave the truth. But as far as changing, how we depend on righteousness, that won't change. I pray you understand. All right. Anything else?
Khan, sir. There's a sister, someone, Victoria Ojo Caliente.
Mm-hmm.
Can non-members of the I.S.U.P.K attend Shabbat class in Fayetteville this weekend?
Absolutely. Our classes are open to everyone who is Israelite born, meaning Black or Hispanic. Your Chinese friend knows she can't come. Your white buddy from work, they are not invited. No puedo. They cannot come. They can't. All right. But if you consider yourself Black or Hispanic, and you always have, come on down to class, man. Save your life. Why not? Is there anything else?
Khan. We have Officer Sharna Pash.
Mm-hmm.
He says, Shalom alawat Baba Kushah. My Lord, can you get in the topic of the coons of Nasty Nate and the Christian Pastor Phillips with your grace and wisdom,
well,
sir?
Now, that's a good question. I'd like to do that. Give him a hand. The water. Let me do that. Pull those up for me out. Let me get Nasty Nate, Cerdos Morados, the purple pigs of the IUIC. For those of you that don't know who they are, they're like this Israelite group that just wears purple. And listen, and you know what? And the brother I-S-U.P.K went and found out why. Everyone has heard of the IUIC in here, right? You heard of them? Just right here in the blue. Have you heard of the IUIC? Okay. I'm going to explain to you why they wear purple. I-S-U.P.K, where you have it, I'm going to say it. I-S-U.P.K will pull it up. One day,
sir, I sent it to the brother.
Okay. When you get it, let me know. I'll give you a brief of it right now. One day, Nate's wife is the reason that they wear purple. Nate is Nathaniel or Bishop Nathaniel. His wife is the reason that they wear purple, because she came out one day. Nate had a dream that Jesus Christ came back in a purple robe. That's it. And his wife heard the dream, and his wife said, y'all should all wear purple. And I'm gonna start making everybody purple gay ass t-shirts to wear. His woman. You can look at that thing and you can tell that some woman inspired it. It's obvious. Well, it's on video. The brother will play it and I'll move on. Is this it? You got the timestamp?
Khan.
If you
I
can,
believe
go
this is the Israeli send informant to conduct threat assessment on the Israelites.
Okay, go ahead and play it. I don't know what's on there, but play it.
Salaki, yeah, Khan, that's it. Start
right.
at 1 and 12. 1 hour and 12 minutes.
You got it. Go ahead. Take your time. We got that. We have some other things as well.
All right.
Mm-hmm. I might have to just tell him it takes too long. You go straight there.
Deacon Malachi was a young man at the time. He overheard the conversation I was having. So his wife went and designed a purple garment. And from there, that's what we did.
Okay, and it's just kind of a way to distinguish yourself.
Like it, sir.
Go ahead, Art. Stop.
Probably not, because
go ahead, Art.
I don't think we all saw the beginning.
Say what?
We didn't all see the beginning.
What?
If they might have started over, sir.
All right, but where should we start? 112. Go ahead. I can't hear the wife. I heard him say wife slightly. If not, I got to just tell you what he said for time's sake. All right. Go ahead. Send me one more time, please.
So I remember talking one day about what Christ suffered when they dressed him with a crown of thorns and put on a robe of purple and began to beat him. Mm-hmm. So I said, you know what? We should wear purple. And then Deacon Malachi was a young man at the time. He overheard the conversation I was having. So his wife went and designed a purple garment. And from there, that's what we did.
Okay, and it's just kind of a way to distinguish yourself.
Deacon Malachi's wife, after he had this vision about Jesus Christ wearing purple, then his Deacon Malachi's wife went and came up with these purple shirts. And now everybody's wearing purple shirts and worshiping purple like Prince. That is what you think someone of God does? Colors? That's what you into, colors. You Israelite groups love your colors too. You love your all white group, they wear all white. The one that wear all purple, the one that wear all of this. That's your whole thing, is being color coordinated, isn't it? That's what you like a family reunion, aren't you? You love to just be color coordinated. You need me up. Oh, please, I'm sorry. Go ahead. The water. You might want to care less about your color coordination and care about being such sodomites and homosexuals in there. You might want to put some emphasis on something more meaningful than being color coordinated constantly. What else do you have?
Khan, if I may, sir.
Go ahead.
Khan, I just want to make sure you get your due honors. White man the devil for taking down the initial I.S.U.P.K Philadelphia school. You said when I first came into school, I was probably a year old in the school. It's going to come out. A woman invented that purple. You
Yeah,
said
most-
in the
yes.
Philly school years ago. I wish
Most-
that page was still up.
Most High in Christ, it seemed obvious to me, from what Commander General Yohanna taught me, that some woman invented that color because a man wouldn't do that. A man would not say, let's all wear purple shirts. All right. Now, the reason that they're in the news now is because in Atlanta, brothers from Atlanta in here, you in here, Atlanta, right? You know about the 2818 church. Have you heard of that? You never heard of that. You heard of the Jamal Bryant church down in Atlanta, right? Well, this is like the second biggest church in Atlanta. It's called the 2818 church. Now, it has a super coon in charge of this church. I mean, he's a coon on another level. He recently said that when the police kill black people, it's the fault of black people because they should shut their mouths and obey the cops. Is it? Do we have it right here? Is this it? Go ahead and play it.
Slaggy, sir, while they get that,
Go ahead, Ark.
they're getting dragged on social media, even by Christians right now, because they put up a post that this Sunday they're having a Sabbath from church.
Oh,
everybody's on vacation. Everybody should go do their own thing. And it just so happens to be the 4th of July weekend. Everybody wants to go on vacation.
yeah. I mean, this cat here, he's like the Purple Pigs, and he's an ultra coon. He's a super sellout Christian who cares about pleasing white people and does not care about pleasing God. If you haven't, if not, I got to go ahead and tell you what he's saying. All right, go ahead.
Rebellious towards authority. That we have to learn to be model citizens that follow ordinances. Like I remember when I was 15 and I was walking down the avenue, Hollis. I'm walking down Hollis in Queens. And I remember an Italian officer, man. He drove by me in his car. He looked me in the eye, and I looked him in the eye. We made eye contact, and I kept walking. He came around the block, jumped out the car, grabbed me by my neck, smashed me up against a brick wall, and he put his Glock to the back of my head. Watch. And then he said to me, watch, say something. No phones, no iPhones, no cameras, no recording. And his Glock is pressed up against my head. Say something. Watch. Now in that moment, I hear the voice of my mother all the time harassing me. Oh, son. She Trinidad. Oh, son. Obey the Holy Spirit, oh, son. Obey God, oh, son. Obey authority, oh, son. Obey the cops, oh, son. Stop getting in trouble with the police. Oh, son, obey your elders. Obey your elders. Obey authority. My mother and father constantly trying to teach me to obey authority. And in that moment, I hear her voice. And in that moment, I got to decide which one will be stronger, my ego or my submission. I could flex in that moment and not obey the authority because my ego will be stronger than my logic, or I can submit and walk away with my life. And if I don't submit in that moment, man, I'm hurled into eternity by a cop's bullet. And I know there's bad cops out there. We know that. We know there's cops who's evil. Man, there's evil people in every industry preaching all that stuff. But man, not every killing of a black man was because of a bad cop. Some of that is because we have not taught our children to be, watch, obedient to authority.
Stop.
Stop.
Stop. People like this are why we are still in this hell. Do you understand that he is saying that he looked at a cop? The cop got out the car and put his gun to his head. He blames himself for looking at the cop. You know, it's not illegal to look at a cop. You know that, you're in America, right? You know, Americans, you can curse out a cop. You can yell at a cop. You can scream at a cop. That is legal here, but it is not legal to us because preachers teach us that it's our fault because we used our eyeballs in a rebellious way. Now, from down south, who knows about the eyeball thing down south, looking at a white person in their mind, in their face? You know, sister, about that? Break it down. Put a microphone. Tell the truth on it. My grandmother taught me about this. I remember it from being young. Go ahead.
Salaki, if I may, there were certain rules in the South during Jim Crow, basically to keep a certain mental ideal in black people's heads. Basically, they said things like you could not look a white person in the face, you couldn't laugh in public, and there were certain
Yeah.
things basically to keep a.
Let me see the green.
Oh yeah, you
One
have to take the hat off.
1 second, Ibaja. 1 second, Ibaja. Hold, the sister in North Carolina wants to say something. Go ahead, sis.
Shalom, sir. They call.
Oh, it's all right. Go ahead. I don't think that's working. Is it working? Go ahead.
Shalom, sir. They call that reckless eyeballing.
Reckless eyeball. That's an old Judite term. You look at a white person, you were reckless with your eyeballs. My great grandmother told me one day sitting at a kitchen table about a story. She was from Virginia, and she said she never went downtown in Virginia because she didn't want to have to stick her face in some barrel. Now I'm eating. I said, "What? What'd you say?" She said, "I wouldn't go downtown. I ain't sticking my face in no barrel." I said, "What the hell are you talking about?" She said, "Because if you went downtown, that's where white people were, and you weren't allowed to smile around a white person. So they had something called a laughing barrel, and they were all over the place, everywhere. And so if you were with your friends and something was funny and you were black, you had to stick your face in this barrel and laugh in the barrel, which is where the term a barrel of laughs comes from." And I learned this at 9 or 10. I remember looking like, "What in the hell are you talking about? You had to stick your head in a barrel." With all of that, you know what you learn from that? You learn that the people who are cruel, they are the people who you have to please. You can't find God through fear. The love of God casteth out fear. You can be afraid and find God. That's something we learn in here. I have many sons in the truth, and Captain Ariel will attest to this. When he came into the truth, he was so young. And I remember telling Captain Ariel, if you're in a situation and it depends on your integrity or death, die. Your life. Because there are things that are more important than staying alive. And if all you care about is staying alive, then how will anyone else stay alive? How will I fight for them to live? Nah. You should not die because you drive drunk. You should not die because of a fentanyl exposure. You should not die over AIDS or some sexual perversion. But there is absolutely a thing in life that is worthy of dying for. And if you don't teach men that, how will anyone get delivered? How will anyone get saved? How will anyone die for anyone else? Now, if you're going to go to a church like this, then wait for the AI robots to become your new supervisors. So now we're going to have to be, in America, we had to serve white people. Then the Arabs came, and then we had to serve the Arabs. They own all your stores now. Who owns the stores in Florida? Who's from Florida in here? Oh, man, listen. Some the Chinese, the Vietnamese, the Koreans. The Koreans came over in the 50s. They own all our stores. Out in Los Angeles, they had riots out there, and they went to burn down the Korean stores. Because out in Los Angeles, they have to serve the Koreans now in LA. And before you know it, it's the Vietnamese, the Arabs, the Afghanistanis. Soon it'll be your new robot overlords. Now, for under them now, because no one is willing to risk their lives. Well, you're not going to find God through fear. True love casts away fear. I pray you understand. That's this church. Now, the IUIC went out and came against this church. They went out and, protested this church. The IUIC believes in the exact same thing. The IUIC is afraid of cops, afraid of white people, afraid of looking a white cop in their face. I'll prove it to you. What do you have now?
You want to do the green bench? Is that what you?
Oh, I forgot it. Show me the green bench. I forgot about the green bench. Where is the green bench at? In Mississippi or Memphis? I don't know where it is. In 1 second.
Go.
I believe that was Florida, sir.
Say again, Ephraim.
I believe that was Florida, the green bench.
Florida, that's correct, Ephraim. Give Ephraim a hand out of headquarters. I work with Ephraim on the regular. Him and I bodge you. We get the green benches. It comes from Florida. Florida, in Florida, there's this thing called a green bench. Go ahead and play the video. I'll break it down for you.
Need to keep it moving. Now, the term green bench is the name of a Black-owned brewery that's reclaiming that history and turning it into something powerful. Community. Decades ago, there were over 2,500 of these benches around the city, and they became a symbol of Southern hospitality for white people. Because for Black people, they meant exclusion. Because if you saw a green bench, one thing you definitely weren't allowed to do was take a seat. Fast forward to now, and green bench means something very different. Because the Green Bench Brewing Company is Black-owned. And Chris Johnson, the co-owner and founder, chose that.
1 second. Cross the line isn't going to be in here tonight, Tazaria. So okay, you working it out. All right, go ahead.
Name intentionally. To some, the benches were just a cute place to sit. But for Black folks, it was another reminder of how America viewed us.
First and foremost, our goal initially was to make a name that...
For time's sake. There's this restaurant in St. Petersburg, Florida, that named their restaurant the Green Bench Restaurant in defiance of the Green Bench, because in St. Petersburg, Florida, if a bench was green, it meant that Black people could not sit on it. And they grow up their entire lives knowing don't ever sit on that bench. Green benches. And you'll go into other cities and see green benches, and over time, you forget about it. But that is the kind of life that you lived here. And now there's a place called, what's this place called down here? This military, Esau's military. Fort Bragg, that is absolutely built to dishonor you. Fort Bragg, the reason that they built it and named it that was to dishonor you. It was to put you in your place. It was so you could never lose your fear of white people. So every day you could think, man, there was a big civil war. And now look at this place named after the people that killed me. What was the cat's name, Brad? Let's go into Fort Bragg real fast. What was the cat's name?
General Braxton Bragg.
General Braxton Bragg. General Braxton Bragg was a sugarcane farmer. And he had 100 slaves. Now, at that time, it wasn't many people that could have that at least 100 slaves. There were major plantations that would have more than that. But not many plantations could even have 100 slaves because they were poor. But Braxton Bragg had 100 slaves on a sugarcane plantation right here. And then he was a famous, during, I think, the French and Indian War, he had a few battles. He was successful. Then North Carolina broke off from the United States, and he broke off with them. And he began to be a mediocre, lackluster general for the Confederate Army. He was nothing. He barely won any battles. He was just an average, Southern general. And so then they named Camp Bragg after him when it was just a camp. And then as they grew and World War I came, then it became Fort Bragg as it became bigger and bigger. Now, Fort Bragg is the biggest military installation on the planet Earth. It's 10 times the size of Manhattan in New York. All of the special forces and all of them Navy SEALs, tough guys, all go to Fort Bragg, and the Delta Force, fake tough guys in the Delta Force. The Delta Force and the Navy SEALs are so tough, except against alcoholism and drug addiction. Then they stop being so tough, and then they stick that gun in their mouth and kill themselves. That's what happens to the Navy SEALs, the Delta Force. They're big bag tough guys in Afghanistan until they come home. Then they get drunk and get high and put a gun in their mouth and kill themselves. Well, they're all here at Fort Bragg. And now when they name the place after the Civil War, after the victory that the North had in the Civil War right here, they name it after the people who enslaved you and killed you. And history says that Braxton Bragg was an especially cruel slave master. Some slave masters were better than others. Some of them might let you read, might let you, have their children's clothes. You thought they were from God if they did that. But the other ones were terrible. You got something for me?
Elizabeth Warren.
I'm ready.
Describing it. Out of one.
Go ahead. Let me get some more ice, please. Gracias.
After Braxton Bragg, who was a Confederate general killed by Jefferson Davis. Fort Hood is named after heritage. Changing the names of our military bases won't erase the history of slavery and the legacy of white monuments and honors, like naming counties and schools and military bases after white supremacists. Donald Trump panders to racists because he thinks it helps him politically. So he's all in on this one.
The president said these monumental and very powerful bases have become part of a great American heritage.
Changing the names of our military bases won't erase the history of slavery and the legacy of white supremacy in the United States. We must take active steps and enact policies to dismantle systemic racism. But until we can...
She was giving a little bit about it. He was just a disgusting devil. He was so cruel to his slaves that he had. And they named Fort Bragg after him. And you have to drive by it every day, see it every day. Imagine having to drive by a burning cross every day. Every day. Gracias. And you have to see it. And it says something to you. And the brothers down here were telling me something about it. Who are the brothers I talked to on the phone that were telling me about Fort Bragg and how they were angry because they changed the name? Break it down. Get the brother the microphone out. Break it down. These brothers, they were with the white man's military in the past. They have firsthand knowledge of Fort Bragg and the way people think about it and the hold it has on this community. Go ahead and break it down, please. I'll say your name.
Officer Thousand Kowal.
Please break it down.
Basically, you're right, General. When they changed the name from Fort Bragg to Fort Liberty, people were pissed off about it.
People were black people mad about it.
Black people were mad too.
Black people were mad that it wasn't named Fort Bragg anymore.
Right.
That's what happens when you take hold of fear.
That's right.
Of being afraid of white people. Break it down.
They changed it from Fort Bragg to Fort Liberty. And of course, with that name change, you had to change the bank names. I mean, not bank names, but road names and access ways and everything had to go to Fort Liberty. Just for Donald Trump changed it back to Bragg. And they were happy about it.
Black people were happy.
Ecstatic.
Now explain why. Meaning, why would a black person... Okay, before they changed the name to Fort Liberty, was there ever any talk about who this place was named after? Do people who go there every day, who live there on the base, do they know anything about Bragg and General Bragg or anything at all?
The average soldier on Fort Bragg has no idea even who Bragg was or what they're fighting for. They have no clue. They joined the military just to get a Charger Camaro and get out their mama's house. They don't know nothing about anything else.
He said they joined. Also, let me give you a UPK tradition. Never call the white man's military the military. And the UPK is called the white man's military because God has his own military. You understand? So it's just UPK tradition to say the white man's military. So brothers join the white man's military to get a Dodge Charger. What do they give you? They give you a $10,000 bonus. What do they give you?
10, 20, 50,
They give you a $10,000, $20,000. You get a new Dodge Charger. What's that, Hellcat? You get a new Hellcat. You think that the kingdom of heaven is here. And then you wreck it.
You get a Hellcat with 98% interest.
What's that? With 98% what?
All interest, like all interest.
98% all interest. With a gigantic interest rate. You buy a Hellcat and you think you made it. And then, of course, you come home. Let me tell you the problem with the white man's military. The white man's military in Fort Bragg, they have so many weapons and the technology, and they're so skillful in weapons and guns and forms of warfare. Here's the problem with Fort Bragg. The people at Fort Bragg care more about killing people than they do saving lives. And because of that, they're immoral. We have other stories about all of the immorality happening at Fort Bragg. You sisters out there, if I was you, I would not join the white man's military because you're going to get raped. That's what happens at Fort Bragg. Am I making this up, anyone? Is this the first time you ever heard about women getting raped at Fort Bragg? Raise your hand if you've heard about the sexual assaults and about the unreported rapes at Fort Bragg. You heard about it, sis. Oh, you're about to hear about it tonight. You're about to hear about it tonight on how so many women, they live on Fort Bragg, they're in the white man's military, and they get sexually assaulted. And when they report it, they get fired. They get fired for reporting it. And now that Donald Trump is in the White House, he's not even going to keep record of how many rapes it is at Fort Bragg. He's going to destroy the record of that. Whenever you get what I need, you know what I want. He'll get it for you. The problem with Fort Bragg is it's full of sinners. Go ahead, you got it. Mm-hmm.
Slug it, sir.
Go ahead, Warrior.
General Kathum Gavar said in the comments, that's where they got rid of me at Fort Bragg. I was stationed there but getting exited out.
Who, Kathum?
Khan.
Is that when he threw that police car, that dog off the projects? Oh,
It sounds like there's a story behind that, sir.
allegedly. You know, Kathum was a rough cat there. That's a rough cat there. He was up there. Allegedly, he was in the projects. Police dog chasing him. Before you know it, it was raining police dogs. Allegedly. They treated him like he killed the president. They gave him enough time like he shot Kennedy, huh? And he came into the truth. Give General Kathum.
Christ.
General Kathum, he wasn't always a general in the UPK. Yeesh. Well, listen, he went to Fort Bragg. They threw him off that place fast as they could because he was wild. Everybody understands. Why? Because Fort Bragg is immoral. They don't teach you morals. And if you're going to learn how to take life, you better learn how to save it. You better learn how to preserve it, or else all you'll be is someone that kills. Then you come home. Now you're home. And what do? You take that same gun that you would use to kill people in Afghanistan and you put it to your head. And that is, there's an epidemic of United States soldiers that commit suicide. Am I telling you something you don't know down here in Fayetteville? You should know about this because it's happening all. The stories I looked up were bone chilling. You have it ready or not? Go ahead.
Fort Bragg soldier turned sexual assault victim advocate Erin Scanlon says she was sexually assaulted by a Delta Force soldier in 2016.
It's just easier for everyone in the military if you don't report.
Erin reported the assault, but says it backfired on her.
I just wanted a fair shot at justice. That's all I asked for. And, I did what was expected of me in trying to hold a perpetrator of a crime accountable. And instead, I was made out to be the criminal.
The soldier in her case was found not guilty during a court martial in 2018.
It was essentially a completely unfair trial. Everything was stacked against me. I had a victim advocate who stood up for me, and she was fired.
I hate to say that the military is protecting their own, but they are.
A victim advocate at Fort Bragg who doesn't want her identity known reached out to us saying victims don't trust the military to handle their cases. And when they do speak out, they're treated like they're the problem.
You're stopping them from getting promotions, you're ostracizing them, and sometimes a lot of these victims are being re-assaulted.
For every one of me, there's 5 silent me's.
At one time thriving in her career, devoted to serving her country, Erin says she felt forced out because of how her case was handled.
It should be whatever's best for the case, but it was really what was best for the military and their image.
Both women say the military.
Yeah. Let me tell you, it's such, if I could think, there are so many victims of America, victims of Great Britain, victims of foreign countries. But you know who some of the saddest victims are people who decide to serve their country and they are treated the worst. You're going to be treated the worst. They're going to hurt you like they don't hurt anyone else because you signed up for it. They'll consider you someone that you're going to get raped, you're going to get sexually assaulted, and if you don't take it, they'll consider you disloyal. Give the sister, you want to say something, sis? Wait for the microphone. Someone, please help her out.
I was just gonna say, if you saw that was a Caucasian woman, and they didn't give a damn about her. So you know, if they don't give a damn about their own people, they give less than a damn about us.
Give her a hand, because she's telling the damn truth. They did that to a white woman. What do you think they'll do to your black ass? Put you under a damn tank and roll over you. They would not care about you at all, because all they care about is hurting people. And let me tell you something, and this is true for the police force, for the white man's military. When you focus on hurting people, you forget to be a hero for people. You're supposed to be a hero. Only Commanding General YAHANNA makes modern day heroes. We make heroes in here. You're not supposed to just be focused on who you can hurt. You're supposed to be focused on who you can save, on who you can help. So a woman who's defenseless, you're supposed to help her. You're supposed to risk your life for her. Some child who's being, give me the one with the child that was some terrible story about some child that the soldiers were forcing, his mother and father were soldiers. They were forcing the child to do drugs. Someone came, the police came, they gave the baby back to the soldiers, and then the mother killed the child. And the child was so emaciated and sick, but they were keeping it quiet. They don't want bad scandals at Fort Bragg. They don't want it in the news. And it was such a horrible story. And this little child is dead now, because you forget when you're so focused on killing the Afghanistanis, killing the Iraqis, making sure that black people in Fayetteville, North Carolina, never have self-respect, then you can forget to be a hero. It is your obligation to be a hero in the Israelite school of UPK. And here we don't have a choice. You're going to have to defend the weak, defend the fatherless and the widow. That's our law. That's what we have to live by. How in the hell are you joining a white man's military and all you do is hurt people? Well, you're going to hurt yourself one day. When you put that gun in your mouth, you might be doing this world some good. And you don't want to think about that. You don't want to let that be true. That now, since no one else could kill you because you're in the Delta Force, you're a SWAT member, no one else can harm you, you're going to have to do it. And the world is better without you. You don't want that to be true about yourself. You should not join the white man's military. He is going to hurt you, and you won't even be able to tell anyone about it. What do you have?
It's an article. I don't want to read.
Please, please.
This is according to the Los Angeles Times.
You should get you on camera now if we're able to. Go ahead.
Child abuse in the military. The short, sad life of Ryan Ott.
Ryan Ott, this is a little white boy. This is horrible that this thing happened to him. Keep going.
Reporting from Fort Bragg, North Carolina, police responding to gunfire at a mobile home near Fort Bragg one night found a soldier in full military gear waving an AR-15 assault rifle and trying to get a child to snort a powerful prescription tranquilizer.
This guy is in full military uniform, shooting guns in the air, an AR-15, and forcing a 12-year-old to snort a crushed up pill. That's what the police found when they get there. Keep going.
Specialist Devin Havis and Samantha Bryant, his girlfriend, were abusing Klonopin and urging Bryant's 13-year-old daughter, Brittany, to engage in this drug use, according to a police report from the October 2015 incident. Officers found the girl hiding in a closet with her 17-month-old half-brother, Rylan.
Well, let me tell you something. Those of you bad parents out there, you don't know what your kid is doing when you're arguing with your boyfriend, do you? They're in the closet. They're hiding in the closet. You forget that they even exist, don't you? Or you forget. You're so busy fighting with your boyfriend or whoever currently is having sex with you that you don't even think about where the child is. I know this because I question you. I say, where are the children? You go, huh? Where are the kids at, huh? You never even consider where the children are. I'm telling you where they are. They're under the bed, or they're in the closet. Continue.
Police charged Havis and Bryant with child abuse and fighting with firearms in the presence of minors. Bryant was committed to a local hospital's mental health ward for 3 days. The two children were placed in foster care at Fort Bragg for their protection while military and civilian agencies investigated. But America's largest army base, the heavily guarded enclave that is home to 238,000 soldiers and civilians, proved no refuge.
Yeah, it was no help being at Fort Bragg with all of the tanks, all of the Delta Force. Oh, you're so tough, aren't you? Oh, you Delta Force, you Navy SEALs. You're so tough. Boy, you some tough guys out there, aren't you? You didn't help this child. This child needed a hero. She couldn't find one on Fort Bragg. She couldn't find a hero on Fort Bragg. Continue.
On April 14th, 4 months after a state judge returned the two children.
A state judge did what?
Returned the two children to their mother.
Boy, I don't understand that one with child services. That's a rough one. The police come up, you shooting the AR-15 in the air and forcing the girl to snort coke, saying snort it, snort it, snort it. 4 months later, they give the child back. That one I've never experienced. That one I don't understand. But 4 months later, they gave this child back to this parent. Continue.
4 months after a state judge returned the two children to their mother, Ryland drowned in a pond near the mobile home.
The story will go on to say that the father, he was attempting to get himself clean. The court gave the two children back. The mother just got drunk, left one day with the child in a pickup truck, and just drowned the child in a creek. That's that. Right. You have a lot of killers on Fort Bragg, but you don't have many heroes there. You don't have many heroes on Fort Bragg. You need some. You need some, which is the problem. Let me tell you what the Bible says, you stupid idiots out there that join the white man's military. Whosoever liveth by the sword shall die by the sword. That's in the Bible. You know what it means to live by the sword? Who wants to break that down for me? How do you make your living? You're a truck driver. That's how I make my living. You're a priest. That's how you make your living. You're a security guard. That's how you make your living. People in the white man's military make their living by killing people. That's how they make their living. They live by the sword.
That's right.
You're going to die by the sword. Most times you're going to just put it in your own mouth and kill yourself. This monument to racism called Fort Bragg, it's lowering your self-esteem. You have to see that place every day. Your self-esteem is getting lower and lower. It lowered your grandparents' self-esteem. Give me Juneteenth. Give me that. Let me show you the other side. Let me show you the other side. Give me that woman at the car dealership on Juneteenth. Here we are. We are on the 4th of July weekend, right? Oh, the poke ribs down here in North Carolina. Y'all, you eat poke down here, not pork. What do y'all eat down here? Poke? You eat poke ribs down here. That's a whole different pig than we used to up north. Y'all eat poke. And the chitlin too, and the foot and everything. Well, black people are going to celebrate the 4th of July. I mean, zealously. Zealously. You've heard of Memorial Day, right? Let me tell you, Memorial Day exists because one day, I forget, was it around here? It might have been in South Carolina or North Carolina. Give me where the black people first celebrated Memorial Day. Memorial Day, it was some southern city, some city in the South, where black people were so thankful that white men came from the North to abolish slavery. And there was a grave site of hundreds of white people that white people didn't care about. Black people in this town decided we are going to remember them. We're going to have a celebration for them. We're going to pray for them. Black people in this town at this mass grave site decided just to pray for these white men who gave their lives to end slavery. White people roundabout said, what is happening here? What are y'all doing? And black people told them. They were so moved with compassion that they fought to make that day a holiday. And that is Memorial Day. Memorial Day was started by black people who decided to honor dead white American soldiers because they had love in their heart for these people that gave their lives. Love that white people didn't have for each other. They were moved by it. Tell me where it started, where it happened at. Anyone know yet? When you get it, let me know. Go ahead.
Like it's Wilson, North Carolina.
I knew it was around here. Where is Wilson, North Carolina at?
I believe it's north of Durham.
North of Durham, man. That's what happened. That's where Memorial Day comes from. Because the black people in Wilson said,
that was South Carolina.
I'm sorry.
I'm talking about this incident with the black woman walking out of the business.
Please. Okay, but the Memorial Day happened where?
I believe that's South Carolina.
In South Carolina. White people were moved with compassion because white people didn't care about their own dead soldiers. But black people did. Black people and Hispanics have so much compassion, so much kindness that throughout history, it changes the world. Because we're not focused on killing people. We're focused on saving people, on healing people. And that's where Memorial Day comes from. Now, let me give you the other side. Whenever you see a black person celebrating the 4th of July with pork ribs and potato salad, with the Uncle Sam hat, you're going to see it this week. You're going to see some niggas that talk so much garbage about Donald Trump. Hispanics that talk so much garbage about Donald Trump. They're going to be on the grill with the sparklers and the goddamn firecrackers and everything. Let me give you the other side. Show me Juneteenth. Go ahead and play it.
Oh, then we're good. Yeah. The first one, when I went to the thing, I got
Is this North Carolina too?
This is Wilson, North Carolina.
I didn't know that either. This is Wilson, North Carolina. Some sister right before Juneteenth went into a car dealership in Wilson, North Carolina to get a car worked on. And she hears white people talking about Juneteenth. Go ahead and play it.
Why are the banks closed? Juneteenth. New holiday they did. Okie dokie then. I know, right? Pull my truck around. Please. Pull my truck around. And give me my keys to my truck. I don't want this to done. Please go get my truck. Thank you. Is it this one right here? Yeah, no, it's a Mercury tunnel.
She's waiting to get her truck fixed. They begin to denigrate Juneteenth, to say it's a stupid holiday. We shouldn't even have the holiday. What are we even doing this for? The sister said, give me my truck, man. I'm getting the hell up out of here. I'm going to try to explain something to you about white people that it's hard to understand because it's so different than us. Juneteenth, every white person gets off of work on Juneteenth. They don't have to work. If you have to work, what do you get if you have to work on Juneteenth? Who knows? Time and a half. Every white person could barbecue and see their loved ones and have a day off. White people hate you so much, they would rather go to work. To even try to understand it, it makes my brain go, oh, I'm trying to get this now. Because I'll take a day off for any effing thing. For anything. Who in the hell cares? Day off for the June holiday. All right, I'm the June. I'm off. Whatever, what are you celebrating? The Kuntun. Hey, okay. I'm off, right? I'm off. Who in the hell would care whether or not what holiday it is? Do you think Jewish people take off on Christmas? You know they do. Do you think atheists take off on Christmas? Yes. Everyone does because you're off. You don't give a damn why you're off. People who are Jewish, they're off on Christmas. People who are Buddhists, they're off on Christmas, or they're getting time and a half. No one gives a damn about why you're off. Can you imagine being white and saying, I would rather go to work than black people feel any self-respect? I would rather go to work. Let me tell you the difference. You celebrate the 4th of July and you love it, even though you were in slavery on July 4th, 1776. What if you treated the 4th of July the way white people treat Juneteenth? What if you said, I ain't celebrating the 4th of July. What type of garbage is that? I'd rather go to work. What if you did that? Maybe they would respect you. Maybe they would look at you differently. But you're celebrating the 4th of July, and white people hate Juneteenth, and they all get off on Juneteenth. What did Donald Trump say this last Juneteenth? Who knows what Donald Trump tweeted? Raise your hand if you read the tweet or heard about it. Let me give it to you. Levi, do you know? What did Donald Trump say on Juneteenth?
He said we don't need that holiday.
He said we got too many holidays. We don't need these holidays. That is the president of the United States. On Juneteenth, he said we shouldn't be doing this. He's the president of the United States. What if you treated the 4th of July the way Donald Trump treats Juneteenth? What if you just did the same thing? What if you just said, you know what? We don't need the 4th of July. We don't need this. Why in the hell do we need white people to validate our barbecues? We've been barbecuing without their permission for a long time. What if we decided we don't need you? You know what? Go to work. Go to work. We don't need the 4th of July. There's a place called Fort Bragg named after a Confederate soldier in my city. We don't need the 4th of July. You don't need Juneteenth. No problem. Why don't you, instead of worshiping white people, why don't you have the integrity that they have? Why don't you say, I'm going to behave like them. I'm going to hate the 4th of July because they hate Juneteenth. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to hate Fort Bragg because they hated Fort Liberty. The white man changed the name of the place to Fort Liberty. You know what happened? Outrage. Outrage happened. Donald Trump changed it back. What if we were outraged at it being called Fort Bragg? Outraged by it. Couldn't stand it. Hated the place. Were disgusted by it. Told our children, don't ever join the white man's military. Then wouldn't we have the kind of self-respect that free men have? Wouldn't we have that? I don't know what else I can do for you. Well, I think tomorrow's the 4th of July. Just think about that while you're eating your ribs. Think about what white people were doing on Juneteenth. Think about that. Anything else, Isaac? Which is our YAHANNA. We got to end it. Headquarters, we got to wrap it. Go ahead.
Salakia, sir. With that, my question was mainly about Salakia. I know I mentioned to you how everything's going on with the Hispanics. You mentioned how everything's going on with the Hispanics in Judah and how Judah's treating them. But I just wanted to, is there a good scripture to go into the fact that he's now dealing with the 14th Amendment? And I think Judites are, I'm going to just be honest, speaking as a Judite, being very stupid at not even realizing Hispanics are kind of right when they say, y'all could be next, and Judites are looking at them like, we could never be next. The 14th Amendment protects us.
Yeah, let me tell you, okay, if I could, any so-called black person that is saying we could be next is as stupid as a rock is. Black people cannot be next. It's happening to black people now. Are you telling me you're looking at the Mexicans saying, boy, maybe they'll, arrest us next? I've already been locked up. What in the hell are you even talking? Raise your hand if you're black in here. You've been locked up. Next, nigga, next was in the 90s. Next. Next.
Right.
Yo, you guess what? Guess what, black people? They have some place where alligators are going to eat you. Raise your hand if you've ever heard of gator bait. It already happened to you. Are you thinking that, you know, you're waiting to see if the terrible thing that happened to the Mexicans could happen to you? Have you heard of Rikers Island, Doc? Rikers Island is some hell hole that all of our cousins are in. All of us. Is Hazahab in there?
So I believe he's on his way to y'all.
He's on his way here. If Hazahab was here, he'll tell you about the island, Doc. And spending years on that island with no trial. What about Khalib Grout? What's his name?
Khalif Browder.
Khalib Browder. How old was he?
About 18, 19. Still in BCC, Bronx.
How many years did he spend on the island?
About 2.5, almost the maximum that they allow you on the island.
All the time in the world, beaten to death, solitary confinement, every hour of the day, meaning he never saw a person, a child, till he went crazy. You go to Rikers Island, you're going to spend 5 years there, never get a trial, never solitary confinement every day of 3 years, where you never see a person, you never get out of the cell. It could happen to us. Listen, it's a crazy thing to be a black person now, because a black person, the Bible says this: is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Black people have suited themselves to slavery like it ain't even happening. Who's in jail now? Who do you think? What prison do you have down here? All your uncles ain't in there?
So like we have a few. R. Kelly was housed down here. Bernie Madoff was put in prison down here.
I mean, brother, I remember going to jail when I was in the Truth for Righteousness. And I'm in the jail with Commanding General YAHANNA in Baltimore, Maryland. And I'm walking in this jail and I said, this where all the brothers at. I remember thinking, like, you know how you don't see groups of black men? You damn it don't never see a giant. I got in there and I said, well, this is where everybody at. They in here. Let's start teaching, because this is where they at. They all in here right now. You go into jail lot, everybody's there. The cat you went to high school with, your cat you knew from high school, they're in there. Everyone. There are 2 million people in jail. 2 million. It's happening to us next. It's happening to you now. And you still don't care. You understand? Let me get this. Hold on, before I forget, I'm slipping my mind right now as we speak. What was the last thing? The Ba'alim. Zaryak asked for it. Maybe I don't need it. It's a Puff Daddy type of breakdown with Ba'alim. Puff Daddy made it out of jail. Is there something else I'm missing? Go ahead.
Were you done with the Purple Pig, sir?
It was more to go, but I don't know if I have more videos. The Purple Pigs love the police the same way that church in Atlanta does. They're scared of cops. Abijah, do you have that one where he said you can join the Israelite group, just don't talk about the cops?
Kanu Kanta, I sent that to the brother.
Let me see that quickly.
That's, I believe, the last video I sent to him, the very last one.
If you get that, that's for the Purple Pigs. Zaryak asked me about Ba'alim. Somebody had a question about it. It's a perfect Puff Daddy precept. Ba'alim. If not, I'll do it another day. All right. What you have? Nothing about that.
I have Salakia Abaja. Is it the not the IUIC Blitz?
That should be the Jason Whitlock interview.
Con, that's it right there, the Jason Whitlock.
Any questions in the room? Now's your turn. This is it. Levi.
Hey, sir, I wanted to know the latter part of second Philippians chapter 2, verse 6.
Get some ice, please, if I could.
The latter part of the scripture you broke down earlier, sir.
Go ahead.
who being in the form of God and thought it not robbery to be equal with God.
Mhm.
That latter part of that verse, sir.
To forgive sins. That's the point he's talking about right here. They're trying to explain why did he think he could forgive sins, and only God forgives sins. You get the point? And remember, he's not a Levite, and no one has made any sacrifices. But he would say your sins are forgiven, which is the point that we're reading about right here. He didn't think it was wrong to forgive sins because he behaved himself the way God said a man should behave himself. So, no, I'm fine for what it was. So that's why he didn't think it was robbery. He didn't think he was stealing authority by forgiving sin because he was so righteous. That's the point. Anything else, Levi?
If I may, sir, would that be a practical way to bring it down to our people? Should it be like when we tell people, you know, you could come to the truth? A lot of times people feel like they're too filthy and disgusting to come around us. When we tell them, well, you can come around us, that's how you're going to be clean. Because
That's
whatever
exactly
you've
the
done
same
in the
thing.
past is forgiven.
Let me tell you what the church, a Christian church would have never let me join them. Not the way I was. They would have never let me in there. I know that. And there's a lot of us in the UPK that would have never been accepted among those holy people in church. They didn't accept me in my neighborhood. The old ladies called the police on me. The old ladies would tell the cops, you know, where I was standing, where I was. They thought I was the poison in the community. I was the thing that was hurting the black community. Churches would have never accepted someone like me, but the UPK did. The UPK accepted me. You understand? That's what this is talking about. Like they didn't think it was wrong to say you are forgiven for what you've done. Now you come in here and become a better man. You think Christians forgive you for your past? Are you out of your effing mind? They don't. They don't ever forgive you for your past, ever. They look at you like you're a piece of garbage. They think the cops are right for shooting you. I think I showed you that. They look at you and go, really, it's your fault, YN. You don't obey the cops, you YN. The cops need to shoot you, you YN. They don't think that you're someone salvageable. They want the cops to throw you in Alligator Alcatraz or Rikers Island or 1,000 other prisons that Christians ask white people to make to clean up the black community. I was the thing that you had to clean up. You understand? Jesus Christ decided that I was something worth saving, and the UPK would have only given me a place in here. No one else would have. You understand? Anything else? Please, in the back, Zion.
Like it, Jennifer, if I may, Bob Shaw.
Please.
Can I get a book of Judges, chapter 14, verse 4?
Book of Judges 14:4. Captain Cotters, I got to tell me what to do, all right? I'm going to keep going until somebody stops me. Go ahead, Zion.
Come on. It says, but his father and his mother knew not that it was the Lord that sought an occasion against the Philistines, for at a time the Philistine had dominion over Israel.
Right.
Is this like the Most High knowing that Samson was going to make the, you know what I'm saying, go against his father, and
I'm missing
knowing
what you're saying. Okay, what's the point? Come closer if you don't mind.
so like it, sir.
Go ahead. Say it again.
It is like in this scripture right here, is this about like Samson making the mistake and marrying the heathen,
Right.
and the Most High knowing that he was going to do that because he did it?
Where's the part about him knowing he was going to do it?
It is saying, so like sir, it said, but his father and his mother knew not they were of the Lord.
What was of the Lord?
Him taking Delilah.
Him. Okay, did you say they were of the Lord?
Yeah, it was of the Lord.
Okay, what was? Skip above where it says what was the thing that was of the Lord, please.
So like it said, an occasion against the Philistines.
Okay, I got you. So what's your question?
Was even though he did that, the Most High knew like there was an opportunity for us to be delivered through his disobedience.
Okay, you don't want to think of it like that. That's not how it is. Let me tell you, what you're getting into right there is something that the Catholics call predestination. Predestination is wrong and not in the Bible. There's like a thought about God, like he knows we're going to do it, and that's not true. You don't want to think like, God knew I was going to shoot that cat. Shooting that cat was of God's will, because then he knew I'd find the truth. You don't want to think like that. There is no such thing as predestination. That's not, God knew it already. That's not true. God is putting all of us in the position to be tested. You're deciding whether or not you pass or fail. Don't think of it like God wanted me to fail. You understand? That's not true. God wants you to pass. You know what God wanted? For Samson to not have sex with Delilah. That's what he wanted. He wanted him to not do it. Then God would just kill the Philistines another way. You understand? God doesn't want you to fail. And so many Christians, they think, well, God knew that I was going to kill them people, and that was his will so that God's work could be done in prison. So now I'm in jail every day, and I'm a minister, and nigga, God didn't want you to kill them people. That's not what he wanted. But since you killed them, he made use of the scenario, of the situation. He salvages you. Now you just decide. You can just be someone who teaches people to make the right decisions, or you can be the example of someone that doesn't make the right decisions. Either way, God will use you. Now, which one do you want to be? But you decide, not God. God doesn't, the precept. Come on. God tempts no one of evil, nor is he able to commit evil. God isn't saying, Samson, have sex with this whore. But if Samson decides to have sex with that whore, God will salvage this in some way for his purpose. But Samson could have said, Delilah, no, I will not touch you. I will not be with you because I am an Israelite. And the Philistines could have gotten mad at him for not having sex with Delilah, and he could have killed the Philistines then. You get the point. So you don't want to ever think that about any precept. Like, well, God knew I was going to do it. He didn't. He wanted you to do what's right. You didn't. You understand?
Kind of walk out the water, sir.
There's many precepts. There's also what the Lord said in Judges, that he put the heathens round about Israel that he might prove Israel. God gives us tests. Now, who's going to pass? You tell me. That's it. God ain't like, well, he's going to fail. I want him to fail. I'm hoping he fails. That's not him. You understand?
The water, sir.
Anything else?
Slack out. I want to have that Jason Whitlock interview.
Go ahead. Well, what's this proving?
Something about the IUIC.
All right. Go ahead.
Womb, 80% of the time she chooses.
Anyone needs to see me for a counsel, you got to tell the guard, all right? And get your name on the list. If not, I'll be running the hell out of here. But if you need to see me, I'll be staying. All right? So you got to tell the guard. Please, go ahead.
Reading up on your background, you were a former New York police officer, a police detective, I believe.
Yes.
And so when I hear that, I think of the Fraternal Order of Police, which people, again, make Masonic connections to. And so when I hear, a former New York police detective founds his own basically religious organization. I'm just
all right. I can't take
the found.
Stop. We got a bad copy there. I don't know who the hell that is talking too much. This is Nate saying that when he became a cop, Nate was a crooked cop. When he became a cop, he went and told them, listen, I'm thinking about starting this Purple Israelite group. They said, fine, you can do it, but don't ever talk about the cops. That's in this video. The brothers will post it. You can watch it on your own time.
So you want me to go straight to that?
If you don't mind.
Come on.
Go ahead.
learning that we're Israelites. So, and when you better know now, I'm an Israelite. This is what I teach. I sat in several meetings with the bosses, okay? And the one thing they said, don't speak on the police department as long as you are employed here. Okay, you got it. I'm going to teach the Bible that we're Israel. And many of the bosses, they watched the programs. They saw us on the street. Even one time, I even got a...
Stop. That's all I need. He made a promise to them he wouldn't talk about the police because he loves the police, works for the police, and is a crooked cop, just like the 2819 church, just like them. All of them are a bunch of sellout slaves that would rather save their own lives than be a hero for someone else. You better listen. You better follow the Israelite School of UPK and the Commanding General YAHANNA. And here we care about saving people, not killing people, saving people. Am I missing my last thing? I think that's it. Unless there's something else. Any questions in the room? How about in the camps, other camps out there watching? Anything you need me for, Akim? Ibaja, you there? You need me for anything?
Oh, on, sir. Salaki, I just wanted to reiterate what's called around this time. This was around the same time as Trayvon Martin. He was still a police officer. So when that whole situation happened, that's why you had that whole who cares about Trayvon. He couldn't speak against it, really. He couldn't speak against really any police killing. I wish what's called a lot of their channels got taken down from around that time too. So it's hard to see exactly what they were saying about things like specifically Eric Garner, because that was NYPD. And I can't find anything about Nate and them speaking against Eric Garner and NYPD killing.
Yeah.
And funny that he has to bring out later. They told me I couldn't.
Well, that budget, they didn't speak out against Eric Garner that happened right there in Brooklyn, that happened right there in New York. They never speak against the cops because this pig works for them. And he can't help people because he cares about his own pension or whatever that messes cops get. The purple pigs are disgusting and they're homosexual. Nasty Nate has had sex with a man. It's clear. If anyone from the purple pigs would like to contest it, you can come up. But this man has had sex with a man. Sisters, you know that, don't you? Sisters, you know a man who's got a little sugar in his tank. Do they still say that? Nate has sugar in his tank. I don't even want to hypothesize what a tank is because, damn, I'll have to really leave. But whatever a tank is, it's sugar in it. All right, I gotta go. All right, come on, Warrior. What you want to say? Can they hear you?
It's like I was gonna read the itinerary for tomorrow.
Oh, that's what we need to do. Get him on camera, please. This is brother. What's your name, Mark?
Also,
I.S.U.P.K is going to read the itinerary for tomorrow. We're just getting started right now. This is just the beginning. Go ahead. Commanding General YAHANNA is on his way here. He will be on deck at Fayetteville, North Carolina. Go ahead, Warrior.
Come on, sir. So tomorrow, July 4th, you understand, we got to stay up bowling party from 4 a.m. until, whenever it ends at Lafayette Lanes. You understand? And then the after hours location here at the Fayetteville School, we got a chicken and fish fry in the game.
Oh, shit. A fish fry
and
chicken. I'll be there. Go ahead.
And that's gonna be going down, after the Lafayette Lanes tomorrow night.
Lafayette Lanes, that's bowling.
Sir.
What about the basketball? Y'all brothers still doing that? There's no basketball. Oh, so tomorrow, I'm getting confused. Tomorrow is a chicken and fish fry. Where is that at?
That's gonna be here
at the school. Chicken and fish fry at the school. Hot sauce.
Light bread.
White bread. Oh Lord. Okay, chicken and fish, white bread and hot sauce at the school. Bowling as well. Before or after the chicken and fish?
That's before.
Before the chicken and fish
you
bowling.
tire yourself out on the bowling lanes, you come here.
Come and revitalize yourself. All right. So what's the next day?
So after that, on the 5th, we got the Kings of kickball game. Yes, from 4:30 to 7 p.m. And that's at Lamont Street Park.
That's the next day.
Come on,
It's the
that's on
kickball
Saturday.
game
Come on.
for the kids and everybody to play kickball.
Come on.
And there's a park you're going to be at to play kickball.
Come on.
Go ahead.
And after that, we got Club Halo.
Club Halo.
Come on. And sections are available.
And the sections at Club Halo
Come on.
to have a, to read the Bible in there. No, I don't think so. I don't think that's the case.
And Sunday,
I'll be there too. Go ahead. Now, who's gonna be reading? Who's gonna be the speaker and the reader right there at Club Halo? You're gonna do the reading. He said, no. Go ahead.
And Sunday, we got the Carolina Colt Classic Cookout. You understand? From 12 p.m. until, you understand?
Wrap it up. Sunday, the Carolina Colt Classic. That's at the park.
Seabrook Park.
Say again?
Seabrook Park.
Seabrook
Come on.
Park. Go ahead.
And that's from 12 o'clock until, whenever we
Whenever.
decide to get up out of there.
Are you having a cookout and getting it on? I thought it was some basketball or something. Am I missing something?
Sunday.
That's at the
Come
park.
on, it's at the
So
park.
there's activities at the barbecue.
Come on,
Because I challenge these fake Israelite groups to a basketball game. A friendly, listen, I bet you $10,000, a friendly amount. $10,000, the I.U.I.C, Purple Pigs, any Israelite group. $10,000, you come and play us in. Now, can y'all play basketball or not? Now, don't make me lose all my goddamn money. Y'all niggas tall down here, but I don't know. This all y'all, because you going to get involved with this or not. Oh, God damn. Yaharanna, you act like you love to play basketball. Yaharanna is in. He said he in. 10 G's. Make it 5 just to make it friendly. $5,000. The I.U.I.C, I bet you $5,000. But I'm going to need them tall cats to come on down here now. Where's Delaware at? Where's Desire One? What's that old tall cat y'all got down here? Y'all got some old giant down here. Where's he at? Listen, y'all better come on down now. I better not lose my money. Anyway, we're going to be playing basketball down there on Sunday. We'll see what you got. We're bowling. We're having a fish fry, chicken, bowling, having a good time, being with each other. This is what our oppressor doesn't want us to do, to build positive relationships with each other, to build a functional family. In the Israelite School of U.P.K. We're getting it on down here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Go online to get all the information about where we'll be. We're doing this again tomorrow. With that, who do I give it to? Say your name again out.
Okay, Priest and Officer I.S.U.P.K.
With that, pass the class over to Priest and Officer I.S.U.P.K. Wrap it up.
I.S.U.P.K. security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K. Start out of 1 West, going 25th Street, Harlem, New York.
You got it. I'm head on over. All right, y'all got it.
Oh, Salaya. Man, is there a margin?
That means you too, sisters. Whenever you hear Imajim, that means men and women. Everybody stands. Go ahead.
Is there a margin Shabbat? Amadi. Barak.
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Brother Thumb.
Yamatah. Now.
Sar.
Oh, sorry. Slide.
Turn.
Sorry, turn it. Is there a margin Shabbat? Amadi. Barak. Yahweh.
Wrap it up. We're done.